Should be set. There we go. I got the error on YouTube, which means most likely we are live right now. Yes, there it goes. I see it in the back. Even though the error is showing, it says we're live. So
It doesn't say live on my end, but
says we're live for 14 seconds. To be young again. So, hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shadow, the internet personality with best hair, and welcome to Live and Wired, episode 58. Play it again, Sam. Yet another episode about remakes and sequels to remakes, and remaking sequels. Joining, as always, we have that long-haired creepy guy and his long-haired creepy legs.
Legs. And my Cthulhu.
And, her. I'm still trying to set up all my windows. Okay, there we go. I see.
Everyone is Kat Lunaskaya. She is
Lunicia.
Lunicia. That's why I never say the last name. I just say Kat because I'm like it's something, and I know I've got it wrong.
It's okay.
My deepest apologies. Kat Lunicia, who is joining us in lieu of Patricia, who cannot.
Southern Yankee says, Patricia, you're in the dark.
No, it's called I have a really crappy lamp.
Patricia, I'm not entirely sure. Hope everything's fine. Just haven't really heard anything from her today, and it's showtime. That's how Live and Wired works. Unless unless there's a problem with me, in which case there is no showtime.
Right.
Then we're doomed.
Yes. But Patricia did work very hard over the last 2 weeks, coming up with a whole lot of news articles for us. So she is still here in spirit. And
Toby Kirkby just said, henceforth you shall not...
Okay, see, it says there's a viewer on Mixer. It's not showing any viewers on YouTube or Twitch. But which is confusing me. I'm like, do I have to turn off the viewer count widget again? Is it broken again?
What was it you said, Kat, real quick? Sorry.
Oh, I said Toby Kirkby said, henceforth you shall be known as not Patricia. Sorry if I'm out of sync, by the way. For some reason, my laptop internet is acting odd. I blame my sister.
Okay.
No worries. Okay, Vincent Van Holt says it's working on Twitch.
Oh, good.
Okay. Just they changed how Streamlabs OBS works, and I'm like, what the? Because if I have my window too far open, it has the Twitch chat on the side, but I got the Twitch chat on the Restream chat over here, and I'm trying to have enough room for the Africa TV chat for the one Korean guy who's going to show up and ask us if we can play Gangnam Style, and then get angry and leave. I don't know. Things get weird when you restream to a whole lot of places, but either way, this is there's been a lot of news over the last couple of weeks sent by Patricia that there's just a whole ton of reboots and sequels and all kinds of stuff, as you could probably tell from the lovely, lovely title card. I tried to squeeze in quite a bit there. One of the more big, obvious things would be the... that came up in the wrong thing. No.
Decker. Did you click on a porn link again?
No, it just, instead of it showing up in a new window, it just shoved it over to my Africa TV chat window, so it's tiny and in the wrong place, and I'm like, no, Cat. That is not what I mean.
This is the
No, I was just trying to hold back a cough.
Of course.
This is the professionalism that you have found yourself in.
Okay, yeah, it still says 0 viewers on YouTube, so I guess I'm just going to turn off the viewer count. It's not working. There we go. All right.
This is what people...
it's not a Live and Wired when I mess up.
Yeah.
So, let me just pop on over here. Turn the viewer count off over here as well. Bloop. And... now, here we go. I'm just going to read this out. The first bit of news. From Bloody Disgusting. Universal and Blumhouse are developing a new version of The Thing that will adapt the long-lost original novel. I'm trying to figure out what the hell they mean by that.
Oh.
I probably should have read some of this news before we started.
Yeah.
I think I kind of know what they're talking about. There's a YouTube channel called Dominic Noble. He was actually talking about The Thing a while back, and I now wish I remembered what it was.
Yeah, but now that I think about it, I do think The Thing was based off of a novel. It wasn't called, the title of the novel wasn't The Thing, I don't think. It might have been.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, And, but it was, the bare bones of it was the same. Aliens, South Pole, aliens, people dying, but I think there were also some changes that were made, of course, for the film. So now they're going to, remake it with, the original vision in mind, which, as The Shining taught us, that always works.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, when Stephen King didn't like The Shining, so he made his own version of it, and it's basically 3.5 hours of mostly nothing.
Oh, the longest 3.5 hours of my life.
Yeah, God's Ultron on Twitch mentions the novel was called Who Goes There? Yeah.
Right, that was it.
But as most are aware, John Carpenter's The Thing and the film that preceded it, 1951's The Thing from Another World, were both adaptations of the novella Who Goes There, penned by John W. Campbell Jr. It was first published in the August 1938 issue of Astounding Science Fiction, and an expanded, never-before-seen version was recently unearthed. Did it thaw out in Antarctica?
We will assume so.
Back in 2018, John Betancourt announced the discovery of a novel-length version of the classic novella, and he took to Kickstarter to fund the release of the novel titled Frozen Hell, which is kind of interesting considering, any guy can just publish their own novel on Amazon these days. The hard part's writing it.
Yeah.
The hard part's writing it and selling it.
Yeah, selling it's also hard, but if you... I'm pretty sure, you don't need a Kickstarter for a Thing novel that's already written.
Right.
Betancourt explained, in 1938, acclaimed science fiction author John W. Campbell published the novella Who Goes There, about a team of scientists in Antarctica who discover and are terrorized by a monstrous shape-shifting alien entity. The story would later be adapted into John Carpenter's iconic movie The Thing, following an earlier film adaptation in 1951 involving a plant monster. Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
The published novella was actually an abridged version of Campbell's original story called Frozen Hell, which had to be shortened for publication. The Frozen Hell manuscript remained unknown and unpublished for decades, and was only recently rediscovered. Frozen Hell expands the Thing story dramatically, giving vital backstory and context to an already incredible tale. Isn't that the name of my base in Space Engineers? I landed on the North Pole and couldn't find a damn thing, and I just created a beacon to be able to find my way back to the place, and I think I called it Frozen Hell.
I think that's the nickname of the ice fortress I have in Minecraft.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Antarctica was like the new frontier in the 1930s. All the science fiction writers were finding pyramids and ancient civilizations and lost cities and just about everything else you can think of underneath the ice of Antarctica.
And they found an alien stronghold in the Alien vs. Predator movie.
Oh,
yep,
God.
Yep.
But you see, it was warm then. That's why they like hunting there now. It's no, they didn't go to L.A. because sometimes there's a heat wave. It's because it was happening.
When will a Predator be set in Florida? It'd be perfect.
Yeah. Oh, God. Wait, wasn't that part of the original script of The Predator? They go through Florida at some point, and they're just laughing because, oh, yeah, there's the kid running around with a frickin' Magnum, just like a little girl. Ha ha. Shane Black's there scripting it oh, we could shoot her and call it claim stand your ground. Ha ha. Isn't that funny? And I'm like, fucking no.
So would that have made you angrier or less so on the ride home, Decker?
It's hard to tell.
Did any of your neighbors get over the shock of hearing you scream?
Fortunately, I live on 25 acres. I think they still wondered what that screaming was, but... Oh, God. But
They're screaming in the distance. Oh, Decker's just saw a bad movie.
Yeah. This explains everything.
yes, this week, Bentacord has provided an incredibly exciting update to the fully funded project, announcing that Blumhouse and Universal Studios are adapting Frozen Hell. The movie will be from Universal and Blumhouse. Everyone is super excited about it, and it's being fast-tracked. Well, it helps when the story's finished. It's an established franchise that does very well, and you already have the story. I wonder what could slow it down. Honestly, I'm wondering why it took this long.
It's Hollywood, Decker. There could be any number of things.
Well, Bentacord explains, expanding upon an announcement that was already first made by producer Alan Dons over on Facebook this past Friday. Dons wrote, "It's official. I received my signed contract and first check. I am executive producing a remake of The Thing, but with additional chapters of John Campbell's groundbreaking novel Frozen Hell." I thought it was, groundbreaking how? Did it actually literally break out of the ground? Because, no, it wasn't released. That's been lost for decades. Now, for the first time ever, Campbell's full vision will be realized on the big screen. The new film will include the very best of RKO's The Thing from Another World, John Carpenter's classic The Thing, and both books, Frozen Hell and Who Goes There. Ooh, yeah.
So, is it going to be called The Thing, or Frozen Hell, or Who Goes There?
Well, they say they're going to use aspects of all of them. This sounds like a mess.
So it's going to be titled Frozen Hell. The Thing.
I think we're just going to call this movie "What the Fuck Was That?" I'm looking forward to it. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy to hear this project coming together, but they're not instilling the most confidence, saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to throw in the stuff from." Just saying that you're going to have The Thing and Who Goes There mixed into the story. I'm like, that's not very compatible. Okay, just be sure we did some of our own digging and our sources have confirmed all of this is true. And of course, we'll continue to update on the project as we learn more. Okay, so then... let me... if I can figure out where my buttons are. Yes, there we are. So... Oh, God, yeah. Oh. The French name... Time to Play, I think it's roughly translated to, on Twitch. He says, "The Thing from Hell." That'd be Dobby. Hello, Dobby.
Did we lose Luna?
I think she looks a little bit frozen.
Yeah.
Looks frozen in hell. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
So, how are you today?
Good. I actually have a story to tell.
Oh, cool. That's a good time for it.
So I was on my way... Last week, I was on my way home from grocery shopping. I had gone to...
I think she's coming back. There we are.
She's back.
Wait, I'm here?
Yes, you're here.
Creepy was just about to...
Okay, sorry. Something happened.
Something happened. A thing happened.
I was about to say... That might explain why you missed my very funny joke.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I was going to say that the movie would be called Who Goes There? A Thing from Frozen Hell.
I now want this movie to be called that. I do.
Vincent Van Holt on Twitch says, "Who Goes There? The Frozen Thing from Hell."
Also a good alternative.
Also, you got a £5 donation from Suicide Gamer, who says, "Just want to say to all of you, keep up the great work."
Also, CrashBomb0701 has subscribed with the Tier 1 subscription, and I'm noticing the jar is not turning on or alerting me of a damn thing. This is very interesting, because when I was just using Streamlabs before, when I was just recording stuff for the gaming channel, it kept annoying the hell out of me. It just kept making the sound even though I told it to mute, and now it's just not coming up. I'm like, guy, what? Seriously? We're live, we're getting chat, we're getting super chat, and this is just not... So I guess I should turn the jar off. Because it's just sitting there empty.
The jar had one job and it failed.
Yep, there it goes. There it goes. Now just this lovely empty space right here.
So I was coming... So last week...
we don't need to hear that story, Creepy.
Yeah. I was coming back from my grocery shopping with my godmother. We had typical. It was a sunny day. It's been cloudy. It had been cloudy, and we had this bright sunny weather. So we decided to get out of the house, go get groceries, eat in town where we're at it. So we were on our way back. As we were leaving the parking lot now, we happened to get behind this very, very big truck. Now, I'm not talking about like the 18-wheelers or loggers or anything like that. I'm talking about one of those trucks that started out as just your standard four-wheel drive pickup truck, but then someone got their hands on it and in their infinite wisdom turned it into like this monstrosity. Like it's like
Oh no.
almost as like it's like nearly as tall as a garage door. It's got the pipes. It's got the giant wheels that are too big for it, so they kind of hang outside the actual frame. And there are there's like four wheels in back instead of the standard two. And to top it all off, the thing that really got me to crack up, there were spikes sticking out of the hubcaps. Like that rotated, just, and I don't mean like tiny ones either. I mean these things were like as wide as
those
like
things.
kneecappers in Saints Row 3.
Yes. Like I don't think
those are literally spears that just come out. Like the faster you go, the longer they get. But I remember like when I was living in Houston, there's just these Ben-Hur kind of rims that just stick out a good foot or foot and a half.
Yes.
Like the spike in Greece during the drag race?
I think so.
Maybe. Yeah. But these were freaking long things. Like I don't think.
Yeah, let me take a look. I'm gonna look for like that.
I was about to say that doesn't sound street legal. I don't drive, but
I don't think it was legal to drive this thing on the road, and yet there it was. So we're behind it. We're in this SUV soccer mom mobile because it was. We got it like pre-owned. It was a good deal.
Not quite that. I'm seeing like the Hell Chariot from Greece.
Right.
It looks like flames / a spike just kind of sticking out. But usually what I see is more, it's those rims that have all the little rods that go down to the rim, but that part they go to, for some reason, is like a foot out.
Right.
And I don't know why.
Who looked at that and thought it was a good idea, minus Ben-Hur chariots?
Yeah. But anyway, we're like behind this. We're in this like the soccer mom SUV because we got it pre-owned. So and it runs really great. So
I got some comments.
Sure, why not?
I got a couple followers on Mixer.
Oh, okay, cool. We were behind it in the SUV, and we pull out of the parking lot and like straight out of the parking lot is onto a major highway. It's a 4-lane highway, so it's like 65 miles per hour once you get outside of the city limits, which is like right next door. So we're behind this monstrosity. We're going down the highway, and this thing is struggling to keep 55 miles per hour. Okay, we're in the soccer mom vehicle, and we're riding this thing's bumper because it won't back up. So finally,
not streaming to Africa TV. And why did the stream title not update? Well, that is wonderful.
More technical difficulty.
Gotta love Restream. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. It looks like you're probably not streaming to Africa TV. Wonderful. Oh, crap. Clicked the wrong tab.
So we're like riding the bumper of someone's mechanical penis substitute. And so finally we just decide, you know what, I'm just going to go around this guy. So I pull into the next lane and I start speeding up. And we get like bumper to bumper level with this guy. When the driver turns and looks to see who's about to pass him. He sees the SUV. He sees this gray-haired little old lady in the passenger seat. And this guy's masculinity is immediately threatened so much that he slams on the gas and is like his engine sounded like it was about to roll over and die in the middle of driving. Okay.
Why am I thinking of that one song by that drag queen Pandora Box? Nice car, shame about your penis, sorry about your monetization, Decker.
It's fine. I say worse.
Yeah,
there's a comment earlier from on Twitch. Yeah. I'm not saying his name. It's one of those fun names. Saying, is YouTube still playing nice with you? Generally, yes. Views are still up. I mean, it's kind of ticked down a bit, but that's mainly because my latest review is still blocked, and I'm still fighting over that. But the overall state of the channel is still much better than it was at the end of last year.
That's good.
Also, Brepraga asks, who's that girl? That's
Hi.
Luniskaya.
Lunicia. Everyone take
Damn
a
it.
shot every time Decker says it. Don't do that.
If you take a shot every time I mispronounce a word, you'd be dead before the first sentence is done.
But if you're doing water, you'll be well hydrated.
Welcome to my movie review channel.
Also, you had 2 donations.
Yeah, this is not keeping me updated on these things.
It's our first night, and she's better at this than both of us.
I think part of it also is the fact that for some reason, my Streamlabs is just not cooperating. Things just aren't working.
Also, I think I've been watching since the beginning, so I kind of know what's going on.
Okay.
I learned via osmosis. Also, sorry if my connection is crappy. I live in Florida, and it's raining.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, what are the... any messages?
I got them.
Right.
I got them. $4.99 from Creed Nation going, guys, I have a confession. I saw Cats 2019 twice and loved it. I spent 2 minutes afterwards thinking about it and 2 more laughing and loving it.
I mean,
If there was ever a movie to watch on LSD...
Yes. Sorry, I'm a big musical fan, so it's like, the Cats movie.
I haven't seen it. I don't really know too much about musicals outside of course, Fiddler on the Roof.
Sweeney Todd? Oh.
No. My mother, actually, when I was much younger, she did some stage performances.
Oh.
She would usually play, what was her name? Yenta?
Yeah.
Yenta, yeah.
Yeah, that my mother would play her on stage.
Uh-huh.
Also from goody. Xcanio? Zang? $2. Said Deco should review a movie with screaming soup.
Screaming, like a movie involving soup that screams, or is there a creator out there known as Screaming Soup who may or may not be a bowl of soup that screams that I may collaborate with?
Or the lost sequel to Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Or just get my SpaghettiOs A to Z's poured out and it's all just A's, like ah.
My alphabet soup just says ooh. Oh wait, that's SpaghettiOs.
Oh god.
So yeah, what's our next item on the list, Decker?
Oh yes.
You have the list.
We have a list.
Now, oh crap! I pressed the wrong thing again. Why is wrong with me? Who am I? Okay. I know what I'm doing. I can do things. I'm terrible at this. What am I? How the hell did I get this far and no one has wised up yet? Soon as they figure out, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. They're just gone.
They're gonna find out you're 27 salamanders in a human suit.
Okay, here we go. I will try and see if I can send this link to you, Creepy, over on Hangouts. If I can find it. Here it is.
Oh, good. Decker's going to try and do something.
Yes,
joy.
I am capable.
We believe in you, Decker.
No, we don't.
Okay, fine. Don't give the man some hope.
You want me to give him hope?
Cat, to be fair, you believe in me.
Yes.
Of those present, you believe in me. Lone Dragon saying, he's doing drugs! Oh, God. So, Creepy, you get the link?
No. No, I did not.
Over on Hangouts?
Nor did we get a Zelda.
Oh, I see it now. Yes,
Yes.
you did send me a link. And it finally arrived, and it even did the boom noise.
Pudak says dial-up noises.
Yeah.
Oh.
This reminds me of the little meme my fiance showed me saying, "This is totally you, Decker." And it's like, when I was a kid, the internet came in through the phone, and it made horrible noises, like robots screaming.
I can still remember the sound, and I can't get rid of it from my brain.
Hey, there's a
Yeah.
thing in this jar. What the hell? Well, the thing stopped in that jar, too. Like, there have been several things past when that dropped in. Okay, I'll turn that jar off, too.
Oh.
Okay. Pee Wee Herman's. Oh my.
What? Does that title say what I think it says?
Yes, Pee Wee Herman's dark reboot. Paul Rubens is ready to stage a comeback.
And you thought this didn't have anything to do with horror for a second.
I wasn't Pee Wee Herman already dark?
3 decades after Pee Wee's.
Yeah.
Sorry. 3 decades after Pee Wee's big adventure and a career-threatening scandal. Yeah, that is what everyone knows this man for now. Like none of the other movies.
When he was also known for Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Let's be honest, you can't hear that and not be reminded.
Exactly.
I remember him from the "This Is Crack" video. Do you remember? Anyone remember that one?
True. Yeah.
All I remember is just a little clip of just Pee Wee holding it up, like, "This is crack."
Yes, it's black. Okay. 3 decades after Pee Wee's big adventure and a career-threatening scandal, the 67-year-old has become a comedy cult hero with a shocking new Pee Wee script. I make the rules about when I'm coming back. Okay, it was always a little bit weird that he was a grown-ass man who was playing like a kind of little kid in his playhouse. Now that he's 67 years old, okay, this is going straight into bad touch territory.
Will Lawrence Fishburne be the cowboy? Was he the cowboy?
Wasn't he the king of cartoons?
He had to be something.
Yeah.
I remember Lawrence Fishburne being a part of it.
Yeah. Paul Rubens has chosen the meeting place, a retro diner not far from the Hollywood home he's lived in for 35 years. He's okay. That's news to me, but all right. Paid for with his earnings from 1985's Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Damn, the royalties on that were good. But he does not arrive, as one might hope, on a red beach cruiser outfitted with a Tiger Super Siren horn. He pulls up in a silver Honda Accord. And he's not wearing a 2 sizes too tight gray suit and a red bow tie. He's in rimless glasses, a brown corduroy jacket, and a navy button down. He might easily be mistaken for a tax attorney. Great, make this even more terrifying for me.
Gulp.
Yeah, my picture used to be up on the wall there, he says, after settling down at a booth and ordering a hamburger. And then they sold it all of a sudden, and it wasn't show business pictures anymore, but it used to be.
Okay.
Picture or not, Rubens, now 67, is having a late career moment, or at least trying his hardest to make one happen. 29 years after a notorious run-in at a Florida adult movie theater derailed his career, which was heading towards becoming the biggest children's programming phenom since Mr. Rogers, he is still hoping to peddle his red Schwinn back into America's hearts. In a few days, he's embarking on a 25-city road tour celebrating the 35th anniversary of Pee Wee's Big Adventure, the film that put Tim Burton on the map, that's selling out at 2,000-seat theaters across the country. He's at work on a radio project, something akin to a Pee Wee podcast. Okay, I cannot say Pee Wee podcast with a straight face.
Demonetized!
And although it is a podcast, so he wouldn't be video. So maybe then again, I'm reminded to pump up the volume. Yeah, that's not going to help. And it's supposed to develop an animated series centering on Pee Wee and the puppets from his old TV shows, Puppet Land. Most intriguing. Some of those puppets were terrifying.
Yes.
Of all, he's been pitching studios on the Pee Wee Herman story, a very un-Pee Wee sounding screenplay that takes his puckish TV persona into dark and unexpected territory. Pee-wee gets sent to a mental hospital for shock treatment for his alcoholism. No joke.
This is where we find out this has actually been the long game, and the whole children's show angle was just to put the seat in your nostalgia core, and then at this point he was just going to terrify the fuck out of all of us.
It's capped under this photograph right here. I don't mind looking my age in something else, but not in a Pee-wee movie. There's a creepy weirdness to it. It's like whatever happened to Baby Jane. Okay, you know what? As disturbing as this is going to sound, I can picture Pee-wee Herman in a whatever happened to Baby Jane scenario.
Yeah.
That would make for a disturbing horror film. Rubens has become a beloved icon among today's cool comedy people. Taika Waititi loves him so much, he put him in a 2019 episode of FX's What We Do in the Shadows, but even achieving a late career comeback promises to be an uphill ride for his oddball alter ego. In today's overstuffed entertainment landscape, it's hard to imagine a lane for a sexagenarian man-child who talks to his furniture. Actually, that fits right in with today's audience.
Yeah.
That's a little too on the nose for this audience, but it can still work. If Rubens is showing his age a bit, his iconic baby face is now covered in fine lines, he's still pedaling away, upbeat about his future and determined to keep Pee-wee in the race. People have argued I've done everything consciously or unconsciously to destroy the character, he says. But it's the brand that won't die. It's still around. Actually, I want to say that when he said that after he got caught, he said that it was just as well because he was tired of doing Pee-wee's Playhouse and he had wanted to move on to other things anyway. I don't know if that was just him trying to make the best out of it or if that was true, but It all started in the early 1970s, like you do, at the California Institute of the Arts. Hard to believe, but still. Where Rubens, who grew up in a middle-class Jewish family in Sarasota, Florida. Oh, hey, Kat. You know, it's your own interest.
It's my neck of the swamp.
Yeah, awesome. Was enrolled in an acting class alongside David Hasselhoff and Katie Sagal.
Wait. The David Hasselhoff?
Apparently so. Man, Holly.
I want to be a fly. I want to be a fly on the wall in that.
Yeah, I know. Man, you think politics makes for strange bedfellows. The really big thing at the time was conceptual art, performance art, that kind of stuff, Rubens says. He later moved to LA's Echo Park and found a group of like-minded collaborators at the Groundlings, the legendary sketch comedy theater on Melrose Avenue that launched many a Saturday Night Live star. Me and Phil Hartman. Oh, man. Mr. Simpsons himself. And John Paragon, who was Jambi the Genie. I knew that name sounded familiar. Who was Jambi the Genie. We were the three male stars at the Groundlings, you remembered. We would sit in my car in the parking lot and fantasize and talk about what it would be like to be working actors. Another person around at that time was Cassandra Peterson. Holy shit, it's Elvira. Better known as Elvira. The first time I saw Paul, I thought he was the funniest person I'd ever seen in my entire life, she says. I just remembered staring at him and going, I want to be his best friend. I think Cassandra Peterson, she was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. She just wasn't Elvira. She was playing a different character.
It's a small world after all.
Yep.
Oh, crap.
Okay, I will give Return to Zombie Island one bit of credit. This article proves that they were right about one thing. All Hollywood weirdos do know each other.
But they all happen to hang out in Florida.
Yeah, for some reason. Pee-wee was just one of a staple of characters Rubens had been developing. Another was Moses Feldman, a 100-year-old comic strip creator. At first, he was conceived as a super geeky stand-up comedian who cracked extremely blue jokes. But the character evolved. Yeah, I remember hearing that the original conception for Pee-wee was that it was a lot more risque than it ended up being. But the character evolved, with Rubens drawing inspiration from children's entertainment of his youth, Howdy Doody, Captain Kangaroo, and Rocky and Bullwinkle in particular. And then one day, Rubens slipped into the now iconic costume. The suit was a loaner from Groundlings founder Gary Austin, the bow tie he grabbed from a pile of accessories backstage, and something inside him clicked. It dawned on me that I could actually become Pee-wee Herman, he said. I could do something that was conceptual art, and the only person who would really know it was conceptual was me. He tested the waters by auditioning for the dating game in character as Pee-wee. He was instantly cast, his first paying Hollywood gig. That is a really old picture of him.
Ah.
Wow.
And it's still kind of weird to see him as himself, you know? Rubens as himself in a portrait shot in 1980. Paul Rubens and the Groundlings in the early 1980s, right there. Yeah, this is just to me how he will always, in my head, how he is supposed to look.
Yep.
True or not. It was 1980 after returning.
This is a long article.
This is a long fucking article. I'm sorry. It really is. I am just doing as I was asked to do. I'm sorry.
I'm kind of glad I didn't get this one.
It was in 1980, after returning dejectedly from a trip to New York for a failed Saturday Night Live audition, that Rubens decided to take his fate into his own hands. I just got off the plane and went, I'm doing a show. I made some phone calls, and 2 days later, I had the whole cast, the Pee Wee Herman Show. Mounted
okay, so we're getting like the life story of Pee Wee Herman, which is interesting, but the point was that, hey, they're talking about a dark reboot.
Okay, let me scroll down a little bit. Let me just see if I can find like the actual point. Retreated from the public eye, 6 years.
It's the article that never ends.
I know, it just keeps going. Okay. I think I found it. Apatow had no interest in making.
Yeah, Low Dragon says, and it doesn't even repeat itself.
No kidding. The result was the 2016 Netflix movie Pee-wee's Big Holiday, which the streamer's content chief, Ted Sarandos, a comedy aficionado with a soft spot for Pee-wee, greenlit at a budget of $30 million. Rubens had a hard time making it. He remembers repeatedly clashing with Apatow over how Pee-wee looked on camera. Jed kept going, "You look great," and I'd be like, "No, sorry, it doesn't work for Pee Wee Herman. I don't mind looking." Okay, this is where he says he doesn't mind looking his age.
So much for the not repeating. Dang.
Right.
We skipped to the one part that did.
But then Rubin saw what modern-day post-production de-aging technology could do. When the final results were screened, Rubin couldn't believe his eyes, and it gave him an idea. "I was so buoyed by that, I realized I could Pee-wee for 10 more years if I wanted to," he said. "I think I could do it for a while longer and just fix my face." Undoubtedly he could, except Rubens, now more than ever, still wanted to make his Valley of the Dolls Pee Wee Herman movie, even if no one else does. According to several well-placed sources, he's been aggressively shopping the Pee Wee Herman story script around town and is hoping to make the movie for as low as $15 million, half the budget of Big Holiday. Apatow still isn't interested, and Sandaros passed on the project for Netflix, saying it doesn't check off all the boxes of a Pee Wee Herman movie, according to a source with knowledge of the exchange.
Okay, John Washburn says that there have been 2 donations, one from Creed Nation and another from Zakiniku.
Good, thank you. Give me a chance to recover.
Okay.
You were kidding. This is the life story of Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee Herman, this is your life.
This is your article.
Do you want me to read the donation so you can take a breather, Creepy?
Yes, please. I can't see them as long as the article is up. So.
Aye. Creed Nation again for $5. Here's something I've come up with. Here's something. I've come up with a concept of a cat sequel with 4 Michael Jackson songs. Yes, I am that crazy, a crazy writer with a crazy brain. And then Zankiiko left $2 and said, "Decker, will you review Jay and Silent Bob reboot?"
Yes. That's like the only Jay and Silent Bob thing I think I haven't seen. Unless, did they do another Mallrats recently? There was talk of it.
Yeah. So you've seen Dogma.
I've seen, Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I've seen quite a bit of Kevin Smith movies. Clerks 2. But I think that's where it stops for me. Yeah, I didn't... what was that one Ben Affleck serious, romance thing, Kevin Smith movie where he's trying to not just make...
Jersey Girl?
Yeah, Jersey Girl. I did not see that.
I didn't want to see it even if you paid me.
I was just like, I am not interested.
My thought.
Okay. Where was I?
Not
Okay.
all hope is lost for the Pee Wee Herman story.
Undeterred, Rubens approached the Safdie brothers, the sibling director Wonder Kinds, bought Uncut Gems, considering the project, with his quote being $3 million and de-aging technology alone running at about $0.5 million. The viability of the film has drawn skepticism from the financial departments of CAA, UTA, and Endeavor Content. Still, all is head.
Bless you.
I didn't know if you were sneezing or if you had just lost your mind and were screaming in abject terror that this article is still going on.
I thought he was sighing because it kept going on.
A little of all of the above. Still, not all hope is not lost for the Pee Wee Herman story. One deep-pocketed superfan from the UK, he showed up to a meeting decked out in full Pee Wee regalia. Okay, now that's just disturbing. Has offered to put up $10 million of his own money for the budget, according to the source. Rubens wouldn't confirm. It's now up to Rubens to find the rest. I do feel like it's going to probably happen. He says, I have a couple of people that are interested, but this is Hollywood. A couple of people interested, and $5 will get you $5.
What about 10 million?
10 million.
At some point, there might even be a Pee Wee Herman movie, dark or otherwise, that doesn't star Paul Rubens, at least not in the flesh.
Skeleton. Got it.
Yeah, I think actors are going to be obsolete really quick, he predicts, and part of me would love to sell the whole thing. That would include my digital scans, a couple of scripts, some other stuff. I don't for one second feel I'm George Lucas or that Pee Wee Herman. The franchise is Star Wars, but it's worth something, and I feel like I'd step away from it. Rubens retains ownership of the Pee Wee character and his Playhouse entourage.
Okay, over on Twitch, Bullfwine just came in and they're like, hey, look, Patty's back. And Braparaga's like, it's not Patty. Forgot her name. Adds Cat Luna Kananaga.
Lunacia! Okay, now you're playing.
Okay. And with that, Rubens politely excuses himself from the booth at the diner. The first of his Big Venture Roadshow appearances is just a few days off, he explains, and he's still not entirely sure what he's going to say to the audience after the screening is over. This show will be different from his previous live tours. For one, he'll be appearing as Paul Rubens, not Pee Wee Herman. It's advertised as interesting stories or never before told stories, he explains. It's going to mostly be trivia that people won't know. In 35 years, all kinds of weird stuff's happened from that movie. I think it's going to be really fun. The rare opportunity to spend some face time with their hero has proven an irresistible draw for Pee Wee superfans. In fact, Rubens spoke for more than 2 hours to a capacity crowd at the first performance in California on January 24th. Still, even after he reminisces for 2 hours on stage or spends 3 in a diner answering a reporter's questions, there remains a nagging sense that you've barely pierced the surface because, to paraphrase Pee Wee's iconic Predicor in Big Adventure, when it comes to Paul Rubens, there will always be things you won't understand, couldn't understand, shouldn't understand.
I shouldn't understand how this article is long.
So, yeah. There was a $1.99 super chat from Creed Nation asking, why is this article so long? I would like to think that this particular entertainment journalists, their true calling is a novelist.
I think behind it, he got charged per word. Okay. Like Charles Dickens.
Per letter, that'd be nice.
Okay, I need to turn off my camera and go get something to drink because I just read someone's life story and I didn't even finish all of it, so I need to recover. I am terribly sorry.
Jeez, two articles. We're 45 minutes into the show, and we just pretty much jumped straight to the articles.
Yeah, no distractions this time.
Oh, Teddy Rubskin says they want to know more about Paul Rubens.
What else is there to know? Shoe size?
Oh,
suit
God.
Size? Hat size?
Oh man! John,
You keep going,
N
Pat. This is going to
is the
go
prop.
into a place that no one wants to know.
I'm avoiding that as much as
Want to get
possible.
found out.
Brett Braga says the autobiography of Paul Rubens. Now, autobiography would imply that they wrote it themselves. Unless Paul Rubens wrote that article, in which case it would explain where they got all that information from.
That or the writer did a lot of research. More than a Wikipedia article.
Man. You making fun of my research technique?
No! You do better than Matt Pat.
Fair enough.
$2 donation from Scott Yoshihara. He says, they say, Decker, will you review the Resident Evil movies?
I know I have to at some point, but I really don't want to.
I was going to joke saying, why don't you do the Silent Hill movies?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm a Silent Hill fan. It's torture for me to watch those movies.
The amount of times where, like, someone just did something in the first Silent Hill movie, which I think is the good one.
Yeah, that's
the
a good
amount
one.
of times someone did something, and my only response, this was like years before I started doing movie reviews, but this is just how I watch movies. This is just who I am. And I just remember so many times I just watching the movie, something would happen, and my only response is just to look at the TV and say, dumbass.
Mm-hmm. Oh, if it makes you feel better, the sequel? This is a fun fact I learned. So in the sequel, Heather's character falls in love with this guy who falls in love with the dude who's the inevitable love interest because movies. He is the son of the evil lady in the second movie. The evil lady is the sister to the evil lady in the first movie. That evil lady is the sister to Heather's mom. Think about it.
Who the hell is this Kojima again?
Basically Heather hooked up with her cousin. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying when it comes to relationships in Kojima products, everything's always very, very
So I'm back.
I just remember because like back in that I'll always remember that because like I played the hell out of Metal Gear Solid 1, and then I played through Metal Gear Solid 2 enough times. But the biggest thing I remember in Metal Gear Solid 2, in the best way I can describe the difference in writing, is like Metal Gear Solid 1, here's Otacon. His real name is Edward Emmerich or something along those lines, and he really likes anime, and that's why he decided to make giant robots. Metal Gear Solid 2 is also, did you know he's got his stepsister over here who really wants his peen, but he never gave it to her. And the reason why is because he was doing her mother, and that's why his father left or something, and they're like, what?
And this might explain why I never got into Metal Gear Solid.
And, that was around when I was like, okay, I'm done.
Though you would think with all the snake booty, I would get into it.
Metal Gear Solid 4 has lots of snake booty. The camera angle and just kind of slowly slinking your way through the street, letting the active camouflage work its magic, and you're just kind of gyrating your butt for the camera. But you are old Snake at that time, so you kind of.
So it's more like Silver Daddy Snake.
Yeah.
Silver Fox.
Yeah. Decker is a professional observer.
Oh, Hal Emmerich. Daddy. Yeah, that's right. Emma Emmerich was was the. Yeah.
So we have two other donations, at least that I know of. $5 from Creed Nation. Creed Nation. I unfortunately can't reveal any more details about my potential cat sequel as it's in the early stages, and I'm not a storyteller. I'm not a songwriter. Oh, sorry. I'm a storyteller, not a songwriter. And then another one. Hey, I was reading that. Do the Evolution 78 donated $2. Said, what do you think of the Michael Lives sequel?
Michael Lives sequel? What?
I don't know. I just read the messages.
Or is it the thing we were talking about before with how with the new Halloween where everyone's like, is this the last one? Is he killed off? And I was there like, no, they're gonna pump out a sequel. They reveal plans that there's not just gonna be one but two more movies at least.
Mm-hmm.
Horror monster death is like comic book hero death. They'll come back in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I want Decker, Creepy, and Patricia to review West Side Story, says Southern Yankee.
Yes. Oh wait, I'm not Patricia.
Okay, I think Kat wants to be a part of that one.
I'm a musical fan. My grandma loves West Side Story, so I know of it very well.
Jesse Goyardo is asking for the next topic, possibly. There was... Oh, this is the wrong thing. That's just my fair use copy-paste file. Okay.
Real quickly, Kat, have you ever seen Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat?
Not only have I seen the VHS version, I saw a live version. And the thing that annoyed me much about the live version at dinner theater that I saw it at, the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat wasn't that amazing in Technicolor, in my personal opinion. I joked years later saying it should be more colorful and more gay than, what was it? Than a Pride Parade in San Francisco.
Right. I said in my review that the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Okay, now the alert came in for the super chat. Okay.
Okay.
all of the super chat, all of the alerts are coming in right now. I guess it's working now.
Yay!
It's just.
I mean, good. Okay, what's the next?
Oh God, they're all coming in.
All of them, every single one of them.
So Decker is experiencing a Scrooge McDuck moment where money is just sort of raining down.
Actually, I don't know. Can I? Oh, geez. Let me see. Is the jar working? No, the jar is still not working. Or wait, no, there it goes. Oh, there. Yeah, there. It's there. It goes there. Oh God. Okay, this is the Scrooge McDuck moment right here.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Decker, remember to breathe.
Breathing is good.
And to keep your camera above the waist.
God damn it. Hey, it all ended up in the jar. And here's some more.
Okay.
Oh crap! I just see it going across the screen.
Yeah, it's... Jeez. Oh man. It's just going. All of it all at once. Oh my God. I haven't seen any new alerts. It's all...
A new one just came out.
Oh, good.
Oh, okay.
Creed Nation for $5 said, but I will say this about my Star Wars trilogy. The one and only Keanu Reeves as the one and only Revan, legendary Jedi Knight and Sith Lord.
You know, it seems somehow appropriate that cast.
Now, where did there was something I was trying to find that... Oh, yes, this was it. This was the thing that someone... Oh, how am I supposed to send this to... Should I just read it, I guess?
Oh, you want to send it to me?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I don't know how.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to just say, click on my name, send it that way, although I'll have to read it on the good computer.
Well...
Because...
Yeah, I'll just load this up here and hope for the best.
Yeah, or I can try to see if I can read it on here, on my laptop of Doom.
Okay.
Doom.
So there we go.
Doom.
That on. That's.
I'm gonna sing the Doom song now.
Okay, I'm just gonna turn that off. Oh boy. Okay.
I
know what I'm
froze.
doing.
Oh, I did it.
Yeah.
And it just looked like I froze.
There we go. No, I do not want notifications. I'm just going to read your article and call it my own content.
But you are doing it in fair use because you are commentating on it.
Yeah, we are commentating on it. But I would prefer if we... I don't know. There's things I am thinking of for the future of Live and Wired, so it's less just reading straight articles and more getting information and putting our own things together. But yeah, there we go. So Tommy Chong is writing a Cheech and Chong horror movie. This was mentioned earlier in the chat.
Go on.
And yes, it was an article that Patricia found for us. So it's been a long time since we've seen a Cheech and Chong movie, but that could change, assuming things pan out for Tommy Chong and he stops just raiding the fridge. As we've learned, the writer and comedian is currently writing a Cheech and Chong horror movie. That said, Chong doubts the project will ever get off the ground because he's still on page 3. Though stranger things have happened then, in an age when networks, streaming services, and studios are desperately searching for branded IP, this feels possible. That's the thing that actually was really interesting to me because in researching the House 3 stuff, one of the things is it was originally planned as House 3. Like, some people say it wasn't planned for House 3, but they just called it that after. But you find more things saying actually it was supposed to be House 3, but the studio decided they should just call it The Horror Show as a means of making a new IP that they can then branch out with. So it's kind of the opposite of what they're doing now. Is like, no, it has to be an established brand, otherwise screw it.
Right.
I recently had the chance to speak with Tommy Chong on behalf of his new movie, Color
Yeah.
Out of Space. That was his movie?
Huh.
Really? I mean, I knew it was. We
With
talked
colors
about
that
it.
have been seen
Lovecraft,
beyond what this earth.
but I guess that's one way to make sure it's written well enough is get Tommy Chong to do it.
True.
During the conversation, he
With
revealed that
colors
he's
that have never been seen from this earth.
actually not a big fan of horror. Then revealed, somewhat ironically, that he's got this project kicking around saying, "I've been trying to write a Cheech and Chong horror movie." Then pressed to know a bit more about the movie, and here's what he had to say about it. Every comedy team before they broke up, they always had a horror movie. Abbott and Costello Halloween, Abbott and Costello Meet the Monster. Bing Crosby and Bob Hope, they had one. Everybody has a horror movie, so I always wanted to do a horror movie. In fact, we did a reunion tour movie, and I wanted to make that a horror movie, but I didn't have the clout that I once had with Cheech, so I couldn't talk to him to it. It's a nice genre to play with. You can have a lot of fun with it. Like, get out. I like the approach to it. Indeed, there are classics such as Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein that could set a precedent for just such a thing. Why so much Abbott and Costello? I know they did a lot of things.
Abbott and Costello they did a lot of weird little comedy horrors, if you will, like the precursor of comedy
they had
horror.
4 examples of comedy duo horror, and 3 of them were Abbott and Costello.
Yeah. So they really just had 2 examples.
Unfortunately, Tommy Chong did not divulge any specific details in our chat about what the movie might look like. Tommy Chong's appearance in Color Out of Space isn't too far removed from the Chong persona we've seen on the big screen before. He did, however, express doubt about his movie becoming a reality when I asked if this might get made. Oh, I doubt it'll get made. Right now, my agent and I are working on a lot of things, but mainly I'm working on staying warm, staying comfortable, and high. Cheech and Chong, comprised of Cheech Marine and Tommy Chong, rose to fame in the 70s as a comedic duo. They released several popular comedy albums and eventually started making movies. 1978's Up in Smoke is the most well-known example, but they also starred in Nice Dreams, Still Smokin', and Cheech and Chong's animated movie in 2013. They have more recently started selling glassware for marijuana enthusiasts under the officially licensed title of Cheech and Chong Glass. While Tommy Chong has his doubts, this feels like something that could materialize if fans demand it. If a company like Netflix, for example, sees value in it, there's no reason it couldn't get made. So, who knows? If word gets out and people make enough noise on social media, maybe this Cheech and Chong horror movie will become a reality! In the meantime, you can see Tommy Chong in Color Out of Space, which hits theaters this weekend. Please don't watch it high. That's probably going to scare the shit out of you.
Why doesn't I imagine a Cheech and Chong horror movie being titled Dead Man's Smoke?
I was thinking Dead Man's Toke.
Dead Man's Toke. Okay, yeah, that
Dead
works too.
Man's
I
Toke?
think yours is better.
Wordplay. Speaking of the glassware, it just reminded me of something funny. Ish. So there's a thing called Old Town in Orlando in Orange County.
Yeah.
So they had a store. I don't remember if it's there or not anymore, but it's basically they had like hippie stuff, like tie-dye, beads, and they had glass water pipes and hookahs and all that jazz. But it said they had them fully on display, but they would
Water
say
pipes.
clearly on it for display purposes only. Yeah, for display purposes only. We are not responsible for usage, blah, blah, blah.
I like
For tobacco use only.
We got the smoke shop down here, and they have a very large array of water pipes. Which, you know, when you're out in the middle of nowhere in Texas, you know exactly what you're growing to put in that water pipe.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't say display purpose only here. You could buy them, but they do have a sign. for tobacco use only.
That's a sign that was at that one too. It's like tobacco only. Mm-hmm.
Just like those herb grinders for grinding up your basil.
Right.
Sure.
I had a cousin. I brought him back when I coming back from my first trip to Japan. I brought him back some green tea, like the really good stuff. The authentic tea leaves that have been not like ground up into grounds, but they've been shredded basically. So that they fit into a tea ball easier. Yeah. So he brought those back, and to keep them fresh, he put them inside of a cookie. Is your cat plotting to murder you again, Decker?
He's knocking
Aren't all
over
cats
Charlie's.
Plotting to murder you?
He's knocking over Charlie's brushes and stuff in the bathroom.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'll keep going. I'll keep everyone amused while Decker's gone. So he put his tea leaves into a cookie jar so that they would be airtight, sealed. Like one of them. And someone came over to his house once and was nosing around in the kitchen. I never found out why they were doing that, but at one point they open up the cookie jar, see a bunch of shredded green leaves into it, and closed it. And then he explained to them that was green tea, and the guy said, and the response was,
oh god, and there's a lot of people subscribing to the channel right now, so we're getting a whole bunch of demonetization symbols dropping in the jar.
Oh dear.
I have a similar story which involves marijuana. Not me. My friend's brother, he used to do a lot of marijuana.
Medicinally.
Yes, medicinally. And he was making special brownies, if you will, and he was
medicinal
like soaking
brownies.
he was soaking the marijuana, the medicinal marijuana to get it wet for putting it in the batter. And he goes, "If anyone walks by and asks, this is chopped spinach."
There's basil, there's thyme, there's like.
But why would you explain like these leaves that are currently soaked in water, though?
Yeah, true. Okay, yeah, you win. You win that one.
I win.
Yeah.
When do I win?
Vincent Van Holt on Twitch says, "I love living in a state where weed is legal." And
it's confusing here.
Yeah.
Let's hope that that's going to be all 50, because
yeah.
There are plenty worse things that are perfectly legal.
Fair point.
Yeah.
I do.
I would suggest not doing a Stephen King token thing.
No.
Do a Tolkien game.
Yeah, we're not doing that. I didn't know about
Stephen King bong rip game.
Yeah. I did know about the retro stores, though, Kat. For some reason, retro wear, like hippie wear, is really big in Florida.
Yeah, Florida somehow become known as a hippie state. Ask sometime when I lived on a hippie commune for a week, like 2 years ago. I have
makes
stories.
sense to me, because my fiance, she came from Florida. Her family, Florida, they spent a good amount of time there. And they're all pretty well into hippie shit. So
yeah, the hippie commune I mentioned was in this place called Cedar Key, and they have a donut shop there. And the lady who I was living with a guy I was dating, she was going, "Oh, the donut shop's just open whenever. It's great that there's no cell phone signal here because that means you can talk." I, who was like 3 counties away, wanting to make sure I was contacting my mother, was panicking every time. Looking at my phone like, I just need some signal to tell my mom I'm need.
The Burt Mag says, "What about JRR token?"
That's just a whole
is there a bong rip token game to the Lord of the Rings?
If there is, I don't want to know about it.
Like every time the elf and dwarf compare kill counts, take a hit.
That would only be in the last move.
39, 40.
Take a hit every time you see a beautiful scenery.
Over on Mixer, the Destroyer 9 asks, "I have a question. Next 420, can you review Evil Bong 5? I do intend to." There's Evil Bong 5, Evil Bong 666, Evil Bong 777. Dobby, what the fuck?
Evil Bong Dobby, what the fuck? I want to see that.
What are you panicking over? You're a cat. You're fine.
I read somewhere when cats get destructive, it means they're not getting a lot of stimulation.
Oh, yeah, he gets bored a lot and tears through shit.
Oh, we have a few donations that we need to read through.
Oh, good, because those alerts didn't come in, so they're gonna come in all at once, I guess, at one point.
So,
Hello, Fuzzy.
Hello, kitty. Hi. I'd show my cat, but she's being a diva right now, and my hermit crabs are enjoying their tank right now.
Dobby, you okay? He's just.
He's a fuzzy. Who's a fuzzy kitty?
Dobby is just.
You're free now.
He's just being Dobby.
You're distracting me, creepy. I'm supposed to read these things.
Okay. She hopped down and then she just glared up at me like, "Why did you put me through that?"
Hey, just like done.
Okay, read the things. Read the things.
I can do this. Focus. Creed Nation dropped $2 and said it's pronounced Revan, not Riven. My apologies. The Burt Mang donated $5 and goes, "Can you please review the new Banana Splits movie? The body count will rise." There was a couple others, and I scrolled past them. Scott Yoshihara donated $2 saying stoner horror, #420. And scrolly. Zanki Yodo donated $1.50, and it's a kitty emoji. Hello, kitty. I get distracted by cats and sparkly things. My ADHD is very special.
Copy link. Google Hangouts. Send creepy. There we go. I'm productive. Yeah.
You're the king of productivity, Decker.
Well,
you almost got that actually correct.
Listen, how many times have you said my name wrong?
Yeah, I mean, creepy is actually productive. Like,
yes, he reminds me to do the thing I'm working with him with.
Yes.
Thing.
Okay.
Stuff.
Now, okay. You cannot claw things that you're not supposed to claw. You have like this giant platform for which you just shred and also perch on top of to show your superiority. I'm yelling at the cat.
Dobby?
My cat Marshmallow does the same thing. You want to go out and see
your mama?
It's like, I'm going to destroy the chair. No, you have a cat treat. Go play with it.
Yeah.
I knocked down the toilet paper again.
Oh, no.
Okay.
That title says it all.
Yep. The CG remake of Pokemon, the first Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back. Evolution now has a North American release date. I don't know, that title just feels weird somehow. I feel like the lettering, I feel like the words are in the wrong order. Like, it should be Pokemon Evolution Mewtwo Strikes Back.
Yeah,
you know?
Then it's less word salad.
Right, exactly. The new
Mewtwo Strikes Back at Evolution.
You will no longer evolve. You will all accept your pity baby forms. Everyone will now fight with Smoochums and Pichus and Mabibis and all the other Pokemon, except working with Dunsparce.
Mewtwo coming out like, hey, technically, Ash, Pokemon trainers are supposed to start with a base Pokemon. You started with a Pikachu. That's an evolved Pokemon. Therefore, your Pokemon League victory is illegitimate. I don't care if it took you over 20 years to accomplish. We're going to strip you of that right now.
Right. The new CGI remake of Pokemon the first movie called Pokemon Strikes Back Evolution. Again, word salad.
Also, I see in the chat now, got a super chat, £2 from New Doc Prime saying, new since Glass, running out of your vids to watch. Welcome. Creepy's got a whole ton of reviews on his channel of things.
I was going to say, I have a playlist of basically yours and Creepy stuff, as well as musical lengthy. I can't remember how many videos there are.
That's a problem of making like a video a week when I'm doing it fast.
Yeah.
It tends to go quickly. Oh, that's a lot of. Oh, okay.
Anyway, it's finally coming to the U.S. to Netflix. After a couple of short teasers, the streaming giant tweeted out the first English language trailer for the movie, I Can Word. The Japanese version of Evolution updated the story of the original movie with brand new, entirely computer-generated artwork. The movie follows Ash and Stu and their friends as they attempt to thwart a plot by Team Rocket to create the first entirely synthetic Pokemon, Mewtwo. Wait, okay, do they mean like Giovanni, the head of Team Rocket? Because that would kind of make sense, but I'm thinking of Jesse and James doing this, and I'm just like,
Updated
okay.
the story of the. That's something that happened like a long time previous. Like,
Sorry.
I'm sorry, but Ash is like getting his ass into all kinds of situations now, and I'm like, okay, you could save the world like 80 times, and I'm okay with this. But now you're doing time travel that's not even in the story to be time travel.
Yeah.
Like, what? This is where I draw the line, Ash. I can no longer accept. My suspension of disbelief shattered.
And it's not like he's using, which is it, Dialga or Palkia, the time legendary Pokemon?
Not sure.
I think he traveled through time with Celebi for something, somehow, I don't know.
There was that one movie, yeah. Also, are they doing the Japanese version of the story or the one that America got? Because it was two totally different stories.
Yeah.
And the Japanese one is so depressing.
The pilot itself isn't that far from the story in Pokemon's first foray into live-action blockbusters with last year's Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Pokemon, the first new movie, also known as Pokemon, the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back, originally debuted in 1998 in Japan, and a year later in North America, where it grossed over $85 million. Since the original release, there have been 21 other Pokemon movies, but none quite so successful or well-regarded as the original. Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back, which should once again remind us of
the profitable movie.
Oh, yeah. God, I remember being a little kid seeing the first one in theater.
Yeah. I was in college. I was actually in my sophomore year of college, but yes, I went to see the Pokemon movie in theaters.
It was 99, right?
Say what?
It was 99, right? The first movie?
99, yeah.
I was 9, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I remember watching it in the beginning. It was like, life, the great miracle, and the great mystery. And I was like, okay, this is getting weird already. And then I remember towards the end, there was just some kid in the back by the projector throwing their hand in front of it and like, fucking stop!
I remember the Pikachu short in the Vacation song. And I love it, and I have it on my MP3 player.
Vacation need a little
something.
Vacation's where I wanna be. Something in the sun
is free. I gotta get away. Believe me, I need a vacation.
Okay, Netflix Thursday, February. I Can Words will hit Netflix on Thursday, February 27th. Okay, that was all the article.
Wow, you get the longest one, now the shortest one. How do you feel?
I feel pretty good. Actually, I have another. Okay, I have to ask a serious question before I say anything else. Okay, what are the guidelines as far as like talking about more air quotes adult material? Because I have an article here that is hilarious, but it also describes some very not safe for work things. So I'm like,
I think like it's like obviously like squirrel around the word choice in ways to make it more safe, not less, and that's one thing you can do. But there's like just YouTube's guidelines in terms about talking about that kind of stuff. If you're going into like explicit detail and describing a scenario as don't. But and of course showing things in a live stream is like no.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're saying it's educational, in which case go have it. Go ahead. How to fellatio on YouTube.
Oh God! Is that really a thing? No, we're not Googling that.
There's things at least very close.
Right.
I remember Geek Remix talking about how she was getting hit down with, like, because she was talking about LGBT stuff, and yet she pointed out that there are videos that were deemed under educational, which were reviews of a product that YouTube men might enjoy or need to get big-headed, if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
You got a pump action.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Gotta love the even
around.
the even administration of the guidelines all across everything very fair.
Yeah.
But since it was like deemed under educational and it was a review of a product, these channels got away with it.
Right. I can dance around like some of the graphic parts of it if necessary. Shall I proceed? The article is not very long. It's shorter than the Pee Wee Herman one.
Well, I'm pretty sure every article we've ever had on Live and Wired
put together.
It doesn't give someone's life story. So here we go. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, hiccup. Here we go. Decker's gonna love this one. And yes, you are reading this title correctly. Straight guy accidentally goes to the filthiest gay sex club in Berlin, leaves a must-read Yelp review.
You told me about this.
How do you accidentally? I mean, there are a few things that on approach you would notice, at the door you would notice, once inside you would notice.
It's like that scene where Homer Simpson accidentally goes to the lesbian bar and is so oblivious. He's like, "Wait a minute,
there's no fire escape." What's wrong with her?
Okay, here we go. Berlin's Berhain is often cited as the world's best club, but for a straight guy from San Antonio, it turns out to be the opposite.
Oh,
Kyle,
San Antonio.
San Antonio, yes. Kyle, a presumably straight guy. Yeah, we're questioning that too.
I swear. I mentioned it 10 times in my Yelp review.
Only 10 times?
It was on holiday in Berlin. It didn't seem to have a clue as to what he was getting into when two newly made friends took him along. The famous club, said to have the hardest door in Berlin, operates a strict no pictures policy and is known for its gay sex parties, usually held in the basement.
Usually. Sometimes they pour out into the street. No, I can't control it all the time.
It's like it's uncontrollable.
Yeah. And the general anything goes attitude of partygoers, no matter if we're talking drugs or sex. What happens in Berhain stays in Berhain, unless you're Kyle, and work through your nightly adventures in a hilariously honest and slightly shocked Yelp review. It all started comparatively harmless, he said, with the guys cutting the quee and cussing Kyle out because he was checking his phone.
The last 4 letters of that word are silent.
True, yeah. You don't just check your phone while waiting to get into Berhain, because if you do, you might not get in. But once they were in, things got very real and very much not safe for work. And Kyle really wasn't prepared. They offer me these strange-looking little pills, and I pass. No drugs for me. They both pop them and then start making out, he says. I'm not talking about a little kiss or a peck. I'm talking open-mouthed tongue kissing.
Yeah, that is what you do.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, you don't go to a gay bar with your gay friend being gay, and then you just, like, shake their hand.
You shake something else.
Learning his two friends were gay was only step 1, though. I look around, and there are 3 or 4 naked guys dancing all crazy with erections.
Yeah, that's hint number 2.
Only 4 naked guys?
Only 4 naked guys. I decide to go get a beer, and I tell myself, maybe I'm in the wrong part of the club. Maybe this is the
Oh, yes. There's a straight section over in the next corridor.
Yeah. Nope, the whole club is the gay section.
What's the...
Why would you explain?
And this is Decker who is saying this. Let's all keep that in mind.
I mean, are there... I don't really go clubbing, but do clubs have gay sections?
I don't think so.
I mean, if you would have, like, the straight and gay club, wouldn't they all just mingle together?
Listen, I mean...
And whether or not you're straight or gay, that's just fine? Like, that's how I imagine it.
I mean, like,
all
once
clubs
you
are
get drunk
bisexual.
enough, things are probably going to get confusing. I mean, that's how it's always been for Deckers, so...
Yeah.
I'm basing that on...
Patrick Johnson says this reads like someone who's never heard of a gay bar before. That reminds me, that one old music video went viral, I think. Gay bar. Very fun.
Yeah.
Decker, how many gay bars are in Texas? Maybe it's not a common thing in Texas.
We like our
actually,
cowboy
no,
boots,
there
and
are
that's all
quite
I'm
a
saying.
lot of them. There are a surprisingly large number of gay bars in Texas. Anyway,
Cowboy hats, cowboy boots, assless chaps, how can you avoid it? We sell all the accessories.
Lasso them in, Decker. Lasso them in.
Trying to soothe his initial shock with a beer, Kyle would soon learn that there are no boundaries inside Berghain. I pass in disbelief a bearded guy performing sexual intercourse on a bearded dude. You could smell excrement and sweat. I take my eyes off that situation and it only gets worse. There's another guy, and I shit you not, he's performing
I'm reading ahead and I'm like, huh?
Excrement?
This is a hell of a club. Talk about party hard.
Performing a certain sexual act involving a fist. We'll leave it at that. I thought it was a
what? This guy is like this. This has to be like they just have never heard of anything before leaving the house today for the first time.
Right. This reads like that, yes.
And no one of importance says, this is a hilarious article. It's rather explicit, though. And yeah, that's the... Oh God, yeah. There are other words coming up that don't even have to do with sex that you probably shouldn't say.
Yeah.
Why is the song from Legally Blonde, Gay or European playing in my brain right now?
I thought it was a magic trick or an illusion. It wasn't.
Was I expecting to pull a rabbit out? He might. Who knows? Anything goes here.
No, he'll pull a gerbil out.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Okay. I saw one guy getting tagged. Okay, basically, to paraphrase,
Eiffel Tower.
Two bodily appendages and one orifice. I said, to hell with this, I'm out of here. There's only one problem. One of Kyle's new friends has his phone, so he'll have to find him before he can make off. And of course, more adventures await. Now there are naked guys everywhere.
Naked men everywhere!
It's like Hostel, the not safe for work version. The sexy not safe for work version.
I know how Smithers felt in the strip club.
Okay. Apparently, I'm going to have to skip over like an entire paragraph because I don't think I can read this out loud, but it's describing several positions and the phrase "bows TF."
Oh boy.
This Nazi-looking guy comes up to me with a syringe and he's going to stick me with it. I jump back and think about beating the shit out of him, and he starts laughing and in very bad English says, "You want chemical to keep awake and make you high?" As I'm saying no, a loud siren/whistle starts blowing, and the whole club starts going bananas. I asked this guy who looks like a vampire, what the hell is that?
Is this something that actually happened, or was this guy's fever dream?
I was about to say, maybe there were drugs being pumped into the air.
What the hell is that? Is there a fire or terrorist or something? He does this weird giggle and says the siren means that it's slip and slide time. I'm not sure if I can read the rest of this out loud. But it involves...
Hundreds? How does that many fit in a club?
Well, if it's Germany, it's most likely a very big abandoned warehouse or something.
Yeah.
I was about to say, a lot of clubs are abandoned warehouses.
Mm-hmm. But it involves a certain bodily fluid going onto the floor and making it very slippery. And no, I'm not talking about urine.
Creepy, was that the thing you mentioned for the thing I'm working on? Gotcha.
Okay. I throw a beer bottle at him and start hauling ass out of there. I run past this one guy that seems to be injured, and he's asking for help. I'm a pretty nice guy. Debatable, but so I think you seem more like a very stupid person, but okay. I asked what happened. He bends over, and there is a certain object inside of him. We'll just leave it at that. He then explains that he had placed said item in there, and it was stuck, and wants help pulling it out. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, at least be kind and help. Just, jeez. This guy really needs your assistance here. Just give him a hand.
At least rub his back and tell him to relax.
God damn it, Cat.
I'm sorry.
I finally get to the exit, and I yell to that weird, "You sick bastard!" I hail a cab and make it back to my hotel. That was my experience at the world's coolest nightclub. I can handle a lot of stuff, but this place was way over the top. I will not be back, never.
Well, yeah, you're not cool enough.
Did he get his phone back?
I guess not.
Know.
I don't think that happened in the story.
Oh no.
It must be up some guy's ass now. I hope it was set to vibrate, at least.
Oh, I hope so too. And I hope the ringtone isn't too obnoxious.
Oh, God, yeah.
I think your ass is ringing again.
Raquel M. Jackson. Yes, that was more and more fucked up. And that's why I'm thinking, like, how when you get to a certain point, you're like, okay, there are things that people generally do. This is a very odd situation you are putting out here. Do you have any evidence to back any of this up? Because, dear God.
I was going to say something Darwin Awards, but like with sexual things, but now my brain farted.
It sounds like someone's path through, like, the Cenobite realm.
Are we talking about
this is not what I was expecting at all! I opened the puzzle box and now this?
Are they in that Cenobite nightclub with the weird baby thing?
They didn't mention the weird baby thing, but it could have possibly been there, and it wouldn't have been out of place.
Yeah, true.
No?
The thing that got me, how utterly clueless he seemed the whole time. Like, it's like someone's very bizarre.
So they just did drugs and started making out violently with each other, and I see some naked guys over there fucking. Yeah. I'll get a beer.
Yeah,
maybe this is just the gay part.
Oh, what you don't know is at the bottom part going, although positive points, the beer was nice.
2 stars, good beer.
Good beer. Nice service.
I knew a guy who said that about a gay bar. He was in New Orleans. He and his friends were in New Orleans, and they asked him to go into this bar and get order bottled beer and bring it out to them. And they said, which is, I'm surprised they were able to do, because you're not supposed to be able to carry like glass bottles like around Bourbon Street. Anyway, he went in, ordered beers, and there were these 2 guys there, and they just start laughing at him. And finally, they kind of motioned him over, and it's like, "You don't get it, do you?" And he's like, "What?" And they tell him to basically look around. He looks around, he realizes he's in a gay bar. By that time, his beer has arrived, so he grabs it and runs out. But
well,
he says,
that's the whole thing. It's like when you don't notice that part, it's like not paying attention, and it's just the big clue in is that everyone's a guy, and maybe they're playing Village People.
Right. You know, I mean, like, this was
There's not that everyone's on drugs making out naked and jamming rubber things in each other's anuses. That generally is not how... That's a much bigger hint to not pick up.
I know, exactly, yeah. This guy just seems like he was sort of dim, you know that? I mean...
-4 in perception.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, he just struck me as someone who was just really, really clueless.
Which is what's getting me thinking, like, did this even happen?
Yeah.
Because this is a hell of a story. Fun read, not gonna lie. But I'm finding it very doubtful about the whole authenticity part.
Right.
Maybe some things were exaggerated, is all I'm saying.
A lot of people in the chat are wondering if it's real or like an Onion article or something like that.
No, it wasn't an Onion article. It wasn't that. It wasn't an Onion article.
Also, Motorcycle US has donated $2 and said, "Creepy, what would you rate that club? Visit?"
I've never been to Berlin, so I can't really say that I know the club, but I'd go in, I'd look around, and I'd be like, yeah, this is kind of what I expect. Decker would be like, the hell have you gotten me in?
And I would be stuck outside because I'm a girl.
I would imagine, and then I would remind Decker of the cyber cafe that he brought us to that was actually a front for prostitution.
Yeah.
How did you not know that?
It's a cyber. It wasn't a front for prostitute. They didn't have like your ladies. It's just it had the double cubicles, and the ladies that were out on the street would occasionally come inside with the other guys that were right outside. Like that's where they were. They weren't inside. They were outside. But that. And then
Wonder if the
there was a
prostitutes
lot
got a
of panting and slurping.
Moaning.
They sold ramen there. Just saying, it could have been that.
And
That's what
apparently,
Hot, steamy ramen. If you ever had
Apparently-
cup noodles in Japan, it's really good. Really good.
apparently, Japan making loud slurping noises is considered a compliment.
Exactly. Thank you.
So they could be having some really damn good ramen.
Yeah, it wasn't the really good ramen.
Demon Orc on Twitch says, I think Decker would have torn the door off that club screaming like a little girl. To get out or to get in?
Screaming like a little girl.
Screaming like a little girl?
Why?
Oh, God.
Sorry, I've been watching The Chilling Tales of Sabrina, and the guy is in it.
But one thing we should probably mention, since we were talking about horror movie remakes, reboots, and sequels.
Yes.
We do have the Twitter poll for this episode. Live and Wired poll, which horror movie would be the worst to remake? Choice number 1 is The Stepfather, which I'm not particularly familiar with, but...
I think I know of it.
Mm-hmm. I know it was a film. I know it got several sequels, so it's one of the more obscure horror films. Essentially, sort of a homicidal maniac murders his family because they're not perfect. Then he goes and marries another woman that has, like her own family because she's divorced or her husband died or something. And like he thinks that they're perfect, but then they don't live up to his expectations, so he decides he has to kill them.
Well, guess he got to murder again.
Wait, isn't there a Buffy episode based on that?
Yeah, Ted.
Starring from Three's Company.
Yeah, that weird. What's his name again?
John
Ritter.
Yes,
Ritter.
John Ritter.
John Ritter. Yeah, it stars him as the creepy father who apparently was an android. Spoiler alert.
Well, choice number 2 is Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which is abbreviated to KKFOS because I can only have 25 characters per choice.
Darn you, Twitter.
Choice number 3. Choice number 3.
I have to say something really quick. I apologize to everyone. Apparently, The Stepfather was already remade in 2009.
Well, do we have another option then?
Trying to think.
Let me check. Anything on the chat?
Candyman. No, wait, that's getting a remake.
Oh, that is getting a remake, though, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're trying to find ones that haven't been remade, and you probably wouldn't want to have remade.
Jeepers Creepers?
Hobgoblin.
Okay. Okay, choice number 1 is now Hobgoblin. Then Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And then choice number 3 is Basket Case.
Mm.
And finally, choice 4, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Which isn't abbreviated, but there are no spaces in it because that is exactly 25 characters. Is on Twitter at DeckerShadow, 30 minutes starting now. And I will be sharing the link in the chat momentarily. As soon as I figure out.
Good luck, everyone.
Boom! There we go.
Technically, Arcane 666123, Little Shop of Horrors was originally a remake of a black and white one.
Yeah,
black and white. So it technically was a remake.
It was a Corman production, Roger Corman.
Yes, it was, and it's really good.
It's actually pretty good, all things considered.
Yeah, I liked it.
Like I recently did that as a riff for Patreon. I felt like my riff wasn't very good because the movie was too damn good to just do a quick riff of. So, oops. But yeah, it was actually it hit the Corman version holds up pretty well.
It actually has a young a Jack Nicholson in it, actually.
Yeah. And Dick Miller, of course.
Yep.
Just eating carnations, as you do. Okay, so that's there, and now...
I have a story about carnations, but
I wanted to mention is Creepy had that one article come up, which wasn't necessarily on the news sheet, and there's something that I forgot to add to the news sheet that is sort of important to me that isn't really worth finding an article about, but is worth talking about for a second.
Okay.
You remember Phantasy Star Online 2?
Vaguely.
Back in 2012, came out in Japan, was supposed to come out in America, never did. They released an English version for the South Asian market and still didn't port it to the US.
Yeah, a friend of mine constantly complains about Sega for not doing that.
Well, a few months back, I think, was it at E3 or was it at a different presentation, that Microsoft, during their presentation, they're like, by the way, Phantasy Star Online 2 is coming to Xbox.
Yay!
And it's being released in the West this year. This Friday, the 7th of February, the closed beta on Xbox One begins. Now, you have to be part of the Xbox Insider program and have an Xbox One.
Of
and
course.
apply to be in the closed beta. But pretty much anyone who applies gets in. And I have an Xbox One. I've signed up for the Insider program and the closed beta, and they have said yes, you may go in, you are allowed. So they're like, the fucking 7th, gonna finally play this goddamn game. I've been waiting 8 years.
Will you be doing a car review about it?
A car review? What?
No, do a review in your car.
Oh.
You know, the thing that got you really famous all of a suddenly.
Possibly. I don't know. I've also, I got Game Pass, otherwise what I like to call the Netflix of games that no one will call the Netflix of games because they seem to think the Netflix of games has to be a streaming service. I figure it's more like, hey, monthly fee to have access to hundreds of games, and they're pretty damn good. Kind of fits the bill there. Game Pass Ultimate, that includes Game Pass for Xbox One and Xbox, it gives you Xbox Live Gold, and it includes Game Pass for PC, is $15 a month. Netflix of games. Just saying. One thing I've been playing a lot of recently has been Crackdown 3, actually, which I'm pretty sure anyone who knows anything about any of the responses of the quality of that game is that it was very disappointing. It was crap. No one likes Crackdown 3, and I'm sitting there playing it like, this is the best goddamn Crackdown game ever. I mean, yeah, there were only 3 of them, but still.
Is that the one that had Terry Crews as part of the promotion?
Yes.
Okay, and the rubber ducky gun?
Yeah, well, the rubber ducky grenade, which was actually also in the previous Crackdown games. But it's like the first Crackdown was fun. It was a really good game. I got it when it was new. Got rave reviews. Just running around a big open world city and blowing up criminals, and there's not too much story getting in the way of the action. It's just go here, kill them, continue. And it's just the gameplay loop was fun. And Crackdown 2 was the same city, but with zombies. Came out like 3 years later. It didn't. I wasn't interested in it at all at the time, and I didn't get it then. I got it for free as a free download on Xbox One. You don't even need Game Pass or Xbox Live. Just need an Xbox One, and it's free to download. I did not like Crackdown 2. The difficulty spikes were a lot harsher. It had even less story than Crackdown 1, and just a hell of a lot of zombies, which the good thing for that was it was easier to get driving experience, because just drive down the road, and it's literally coated with zombies, so you just get lots of driving experience there. But yeah, Crackdown 2 was just a painfully boring slog, and then the twist was practically the same thing in the first game anyway, which I kind of knew because I already played the first game. And then the ending is like just, I was like, it's done. I did it. I can move on with my life. And Crackdown 3, it took everything good about Crackdown 1 and made it better. But a lot of people were upset because they showed off a lot of things during development that really didn't pan out, or what they implemented was a much lesser version of that. They were like, hey, we got the power of the cloud and the destructible city. See this building topple and crash into the other building, and it's destroyed too. Power of the cloud. That didn't happen. The city, it is not destructible in single player. There's a multiplayer mode where you can destroy a city-like thing, but it does it in much larger chunks, and there's the invulnerable scaffolding, and it doesn't work out nearly as nicely as they showed off, and people are upset about that, and that's fine, but the game itself, it has the gameplay loop of the first game. It's got much better control. It's got a whole lot more story, but it still never really gets in the way. It just keeps you engaged as you play. I'm now what is it? I put 15 hours in, and I'm still waiting for it to start to annoy me. And I'm like, okay.
So, question: when they showed gameplay footage, did it actually say footage may not actually be in gameplay, or footage and gameplay may be different?
The stuff they were showing off was from prototype builds years prior to the game coming out, and the final game didn't look as good.
Oh, because I know that there was
Ken maybe says, I don't want to play as Terry Crews. I don't mind playing as Terry Crews, but I didn't.
That sounds fun.
There's a lot of different agents to choose from. They don't change shape like they did previously. Like in the earlier Crackdown games, you just get bigger and buffer as you continue and you get better. Whereas in the first game, you had interesting little characters that would evolve in different ways. In the second game, you just chose from different skin tones that didn't really matter anyway, because as soon as you got your first level up, you're wearing a helmet and you can't see your skin.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. Whereas in Crackdown 3, your agents have names, have different skill abilities, different experience point bonuses, and you can actually play as female agents now.
Yes,
which for the first damn time.
Finally.
Finally.
That was one of the things where, earlier they were thinking about that in the first game, but they didn't because getting bigger and buffer just didn't seem to look right with a female agent. So now the character's body pretty much stays the same as you level up, but their suit gets more swank.
Oh.
So that works for me. But yes, I'm really enjoying Crackdown 3, which is free on Game Pass, and I'm like, why is this game so hated? I don't understand.
Maybe people are being way too critical, because I remember a friend of mine, we were talking about Borderlands 3. Great game.
Oh, yeah.
But people were someone was complaining about how there's no quote-unquote serious story to it, and it has nothing, it because the game is basically a really fun romp, and it's basically popcorn cinema. But they were like, wow, this game doesn't have a serious plot, blah blah. And me and my friend were talking about it for almost 2 hours about how stupid it is for people to try it. I mean, yes, they want video games to be taken seriously. I understand that completely.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they're expecting us to be as serious as Oscar bait and stuff like that. You know? Just because a game doesn't have a very serious tone to it doesn't mean it can't be fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Or a good game.
Sometimes you just want a fun game to play, you know?
Yeah. And sometimes I just want to shut my brain off and watch pretty explosions for a while.
That's
things also I'm at the point I'm at right now in Crackdown 3. It is throwing a whole lot more at me. It's a very chaotic whenever I do anything. There's just so many things coming trying to kill me. But it's not like in Crackdown 2 where I went from everything is pathetically easy to I need to hide behind this box and then peek out, shoot the one guy, and then duck behind cover again and wait for everything to heal, because otherwise I'm just going to die. It's not like that. I just need to keep the flow going. I have died a couple of times, but it's mostly fair. So
is it basically you don't have a series, that one moment in games that everyone hates where you're gonna have to do some grinding?
I haven't really had that. I mean, there's so much. I still have the maximum level to reach on everything, except driving, which I also have level 5 to reach, but driving experience is also a lot easier to get now because you can summon your car from anywhere and transform it into whatever form you need. It's I see a driving stunt ring, I don't say, oh, I better head back to the agency tower, get my car, and then drive it all the way back here to try and attempt that ring. I'm like, oh, press up. There's my car, jump in, do the ring, jump out, get more agility orbs. It's so much easier. But yeah, I just remember reading all sorts of articles and reviews for it, and they complained that driving experience, they didn't do anything to make that easier to get. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I look at IGN gave Crackdown 2 a 7.5 when it came out, and I'm like, are you that? I don't understand. I don't understand. It's just a thing I've been thinking about lately. But yeah, Phantasy Star Online 2 this Friday, February 7th. Going to finally be available in the United States of America for the first time if you're not using a VPN.
And Decker will be unavailable for the next 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Do Blob 1988 soon? Not soon. Got too many other things on the plate. I'm hoping to get House 4, but at the same time, I'm working on House 4 right now. But the House 3 review is still blocked on YouTube. So...
Oh, the YouTube blocking.
Yeah. But anyway, we should probably bring up another article at some point. Yeah, this is something that... Let's see, is it my turn to read, I think?
I haven't read.
Yeah, she hasn't read.
Well, yeah, but I don't know where to send it.
Just put it in the chat we're using.
I can't, because I'm using that right now for the thing.
Oh. Send it to Creepy, who can send it to me?
Okay.
I guess that works.
Alright, here we go.
It's not the most,
Since we're talking about video games.
Oh, goody. My favorite subject.
Okay. Sending to Cat. Oh, whoops. No, that did not work right. I apologize. One moment. Okay, one moment. We're going to try that again. Okay. And copy, and
Let's see.
We're going to try this. Yes! It worked this time. There.
All right.
I've done the thing.
All right. Now I will do the thing. And click the thing. Click! This computer is ancient. This laptop is ancient. Nope. No. One day this century. Oh, goody. I get a Nintendo thing.
Okay.
Give me a second. It's loading up onto the thing.
Fun. So are you able to screen share, or is this...
Yeah,
is this
I can screen share. I can screen share, hopefully. Knock on wood. Ow. Don't hurt myself. Okay. Okay, go to that thing. Okay.
Forget the articles, read the bloody super chats. Did we get super chats? I'm trying to see.
I haven't seen any pop up.
I'm gonna go over to the other page, see if it's showing up there.
Come on.
It doesn't show.
Come on.
Right?
Before I'm 40. Thank you.
Awesome.
Let me see if I can find...
Now we just got a screen share.
Okay, let's see. Live control room.
No.
This stream is not suitable for all advertisers, so I'm going to request a review. We're still going, but we're just not suitable for all advertisers.
Sorry, we are now at snail mode because my laptop is being a butthead. That is the wrong button. I am an idiot.
Okay.
Sorry.
Where? Oh, where?
Well, if all else fails, I'll just switch to the main computer.
Okay, let's see.
Where We're professional.
Okay, I see. I finally have the super chat window there. Okay. Keanu Reeves.
Hold on.
Revan. Review Banana Splits movie. $1.99 from Scott Yoshihara. Stoner Horror number 420. Zaki Neko did a $1.49 sticker of a black cat. New Doc Prime
Meow.
dropped £2 saying new since glass running out of your videos to watch. Yes, we did catch that one. Okay, Creed Nation dropped $4.99 saying no Revan, as in the one movie Leonardo DiCaprio was in called The Revenant, just with an A. Any Old Republic fan would know how to pronounce it. So Revan.
Never
Zaki
played Knights of
Niku
the Old Republic.
Zaki Niku did a 99-cent sticker of an angry face. Creed Nation dropped another $4.99 saying, okay, I'll give a name to an original character in my cat sequel, Kyle Augustus O'Connell. Good luck figuring out his character.
All right.
And Motorcycle US dropped $2 asking, Creepy, what would you rate that club and would you visit?
Everybody seems to think that I need to visit this club. Is this going to be the next Patreon goal?
No. No,
Yes.
Cons, Creepy. Cons and pros. This is definitely a con.
Uh-huh.
It's a convention.
God damn it.
Watch it. I'm the queen of wordplay, apparently. All right. I got it.
Okay.
Hopefully it doesn't
I don't think
implode.
I'd be able to film that, so I guess I could say I check it out one day, maybe.
Okay. Shall I just start reading?
Yes.
Don't you behaved. Nintendo renews trademarks for 39 games with a lot of Mario and Zelda. Go down.
So this is a lot more information than was floating around Twitter. Everyone noticed Eternal Darkness. They didn't mention it was part of a batch of nearly 40 trademarks.
Yeah. Nintendo just did some trademark housekeeping in Japan. According to Japanese Nintendo, the company recently re-uploaded its trademarks on 39 games. While trademarks can sometimes hint at an upcoming revival or a project, this may happening at once. It seems much more likely that Nintendo is just covering their bases and protecting their properties. You can see that for yourself below. We have Freaky Forms, Kirby's Adventures, Kirby Air Ride, Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards, Kid Icarus, Jam with the Band, Golden Sun, Dark Dawn.
I can't wait for a new Jam with the Band.
I've never even heard of that, and I'm a Nintendo child.
Man.
Dylan's Rolling Western, The Last Rangers, Face Raiders, Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Is that the one on the GameCube?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I love that one. I can remember. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, Card Hero, Balloon Kid. I remember that one. Sorry. Animal Crossing City Folk, Alleyway, WarioWare Smooth Moves, Wave Race, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Mini Land Mayhem, Urban Champion, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Love that one. The Legend of Zelda The Adventures of Link, Swap Node, Super Mario World, first video game I ever played. Super Mario Sunshine, Steel Driver, Spirit Camera, Kirby Mass Attack, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, Shadows of Alma Pokemon Ranger, Radar Mission, Pushmo, Pullbox, Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass, Glass, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Nintendo Presents Sky Boutique, Nintendogs and Cats, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Minnie's March Again, Cruisin', the assortment of the new trademarks lacks rhyme or reason, among other titles. Several notable The Legend of Zelda and Super Mario games appear, along with lots of Kirby and a handful of 3DS AR games. A few forgotten Nintendo series, such as Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem, and Kid Icarus, whose distant descendant is one of the best 3DS games ever, also sneak in. Once again, this list is probably just housekeeping for Nintendo, but it is nice to see that a confirmation that they know if some of these games still exist. Do you see any old favorites of yours? Any series listed here you miss in particular? If you could bring one of these titles to the Switch, what would it be? Call in now for your answers.
So yeah, that I just know there was all the little rumors and stuff popping around YouTube and Twitter. Everyone's like, "Hey, they just re-upped the trademark on Eternal Darkness. Must mean we're getting Eternal Darkness soon. Remember that one? Everyone loves that one, even though it didn't sell particularly well. But
I love that one.
oh yeah, I enjoyed it. It was nice when the game just suddenly stopped real quick to pretend that it was deleting your save file.
Pure horror at its finest.
It's like, what? No! What the? No! 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 And then the character comes back like, no, wait, this can't be happening! And then you're back to the game like, oh, that's gameplay. Okay.
One of the ones I remember is the one where it looks like there's a cockroach crawling on your screen.
Wasn't there one part where just your limbs started falling off?
Yeah, I also remember one which screwed around with the volume and like the brightness and settings.
Yeah.
I was just thinking what they could do today with modern hardware.
Warning: we are tweeting your internet history.
And if the Switch could actually, if it were on the Switch, a new Eternal Darkness game, and it could tell the difference between docked and portable, like things for portable, like it just suddenly like cracked screen.
Ooh, what if they make it that the Joy-Cons can't respond, or it's fake drifting?
It's Joy-Con drift. God damn it! And the character just keeps running off to the side. You freaking son of a! This can't be happening. Oh, I get it, you son of a bitch. Well, actually, that was fixing the actual drift in there. You piece of.
Decker's normal reaction to any game is to eventually start cursing at it.
Pretty much.
That's my normal reaction to any game.
Okay.
That's my eventual reaction to the Stephen King drinking game. Hey, you son of a.
And I get to do more booze.
Remember the shitty CGI plane?
Oh, God. Shitty CGI plane!
Like, we have been thinking we might see it like once in a while. It's like the plane is landed for like an hour and a half. So how bad can this? How many times are they gonna show this damn plane?
Glad you didn't just say shitty CGI in general. Think how bad that would be.
Oh, when all the little Langoliers came out, it's
Right.
like.
The Tribbles are back and they're pissed.
Oh, God.
Just when you thought it was safe to play Pac-Man.
Okay, let's see. How is the
Poll?
Yeah, the poll. 6 minutes left. 6 minutes left.
Motorcycle US has donated $2, saying, Decker, if a game pretended to activate camera.
Oh, God.
Oh boy.
Well, there is no camera on the Switch itself.
Thank goodness.
They had it on the Wii U. They had the part where it's like, hey, have the camera feed showing you what's going on while you're playing the multiplayer game, and it was just like, it was just the picture of, like, everyone else is just playing, and then there's the person with the gamepad playing, and then there's just like this.
Oh no, scary.
Look at how much fun he's having.
Wasn't one of the Xbox Uno games? Didn't it also have like camera abilities?
Yeah, I think with the old Xbox Live Vision Cam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't did that. I think maybe if you still have an Xbox Live Vision Cam and an Xbox 360, it works that way. A lot of the games that use the Vision Cam continued to use the Vision Cam, but after the Kinect was introduced, they changed things like the video chat that you could do on Xbox 360. Used to use the Vision Cam, they deactivated that and then said, no, you have to use the Kinect.
The Kinect scares me.
Kind of a dick move. Kind of a dick move. Darkfu456 says we need a new Evil Dead game done with the Resident Evil 2 remake graphics. Judson Gayden says no tank controls though.
Aww.
I think technically doesn't the Resident Evil 2 remake have what would be considered tank controls? It's just with an over-the-shoulder camera, so no one cares.
Either that, or you have the option to turn it on.
Well,
one of those
actually,
two.
the controls, it's more like you turn with the one stick and you move with the other, so you sidestep. So it's not really tank controls, I guess.
Yeah.
It used to be all games had tank controls. It's just how you did it. The original Grand Theft Auto had tank controls. Doom on Super Nintendo had tank controls. Doom on PC had tank controls.
Yeah.
You could just stand in a square and you would turn in a 360 angle, like turn just 360, just spinning around and around in the same spot, like you were hovering.
Yes.
Yeah.
It reminds me of when like Beat 'em Ups Wood. He does some videos where he's playing a bunch of indie Switch games and such, and he got Heroes of the Monkey Tavern, and I was like, oh, that one, I have that one, and then he proceeded to play it, and it was obvious from the first frame that he had absolutely no idea what he had gotten into. He had never encountered any game of that genre before, because he was completely fucking lost as to how to control it, and he was blaming the game, and it was like, okay, that one sucked. I'm like, no, you're just fucking terrible at it, man.
Yeah.
It's a dungeon crawler. It's a classic style dungeon crawler. Yes, you move based on tiles. Yes, you turn 90 degrees at a time. No, you can't just punch the controller and expect to win a fight.
Yeah. Patrick Johnson said, Eternal Darkness on Switch. Instead of pretending to delete all your saves, it pretends to delete all your games.
Oh.
Ooh.
I would be if I didn't know if I didn't know about what Eternal Darkness was like, I would have been so mad if that happened.
Eternal Darkness on Switch. It says that your Wi-Fi connection is unstable.
My Wi-Fi connection's always unstable. Look how this video's been going out for me.
Okay. Motorcycle US dropped $2 saying, game where to get to drive a tank through city wreckin'. That actually reminds me a bit of the one, like, was it a launch game for the N64, or did it come a little bit later? The Demolition Incorporated or something? Where the idea was there's this great big nuclear missile that accidentally launched. We're very sorry about this, but it's coming through here. And there's a city in the way, so we can't let it hit the city or it will destroy it. So what you have to do is you have to take this bulldozer, this fucking just crane with a big swinging ball on it, just take everything you can think of that can break shit and destroy that city before the missile gets here, so it doesn't blow it up. And then after you successfully do that, okay, good job. Level 2, there's the next city over. It's heading right for that. Now you gotta go over there and destroy that city too, so it doesn't destroy the city. I always wanted that game, but never got it. I'm sad now.
What's it called?
I can't remember.
Demo
Lone
Squad
Dragon
or something? Blast Corps.
Blast Corps. Yeah. That's it.
Oh, and also we have a $2 donation from Creed Nation going from Belleville, Illinois, USA. I'm out. Peace.
See you, Creed Nation. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But yes. Got more?
Ken maybe just said big swinging balls.
There's one more bit of... Where is it? I had it here. One little bit of news that's still on the title card that I haven't talked about.
Okay.
If I can find it. That's Tommy Chong.
Gritty.
The one with the Karate Kid. There we go.
Remake? Again? Didn't they already remake the Karate Kid?
There's something. Let me see. No, I'm not going to report the message. I'm going to open the link, you piece of... Report Patricia's message as spam. Yeah, that'd be a nice thing to do.
How dare!
No, I don't want notifications from EU.com.
Why can't there be just a setting on your browser that just goes, turn off the notification asking?
Okay, so here we go.
It would make life so much easier.
The Karate Kid screenwriter to adapt film as a stage musical.
What? Why am I getting Carrie the musical flashbacks now?
The Karate Kid has been to Japan, in the sequel, China, in the remake, and YouTube, in the TV series. Now, Daniel-san is headed for the stage. Screenwriter Mark Hamill, who penned the 1984 film, is adapting The Karate Kid into a musical with the intent to head it to Broadway. You has learned exclusively. Common writes in the book, for the stage production with music and lyrics by Drew Gasparini, the Night Shift musical, and choreography from MTV VMA nominees Keane and Mari Madrid. Amon Miyamoto, who became the first Japanese director on Broadway with the 2004 production of Pacific Overtures, will helm the musical. On July 13th, 1982, my daughter Alessandra, Ali with an I, was born, Kamen said. 2 days later, when she arrived home from the hospital, I sat down with her on one of those little rocking cradles at my side and began to write The Karate Kid. A year later, in October of 1983, principal photography began. Well, in between those two events, I was born, sir. You could have mentioned that, but no. A year after that,
how dare they.
in June of 1984, exactly 2 years after I wrote the script, the film was in theaters! And there it stayed for nearly 6 months. And also, I became 1 in July of 1984. You could have brought that up.
I wasn't born yet in July 1981.
And 2 television shows later. Amazingly, the characters in the story still resonates with audiences the way it did when the film first was released. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that this little movie would reach across generations the way it has. And beyond my wildest dreams did I think what started out as a love letter to my devotion to Okinawan karate and the man who taught me would become a full-blown Broadway musical. But here it is. Here I am. And here is hoping that what comes to the stage brings the same joy and relevance the Karate Kid has brought to countless kids and their parents for the past 35 years. Go figure. The musical will also feature a set designed by Derek McLean. Additional information, including production dates and casting, will be announced at a later date. And this is parts about what the original Karate Kid is, the reboot. Musical producer Kumiko Yoshi promises Robert's story is our Bible, but affirms we are reinventing how it is told so that it must be experienced live in the theater. Many people love Broadway musicals for escape, but I love them because they provide insight into how we should live our lives. What the You're getting a little bit too much from
musicals
that.
is he seeing?
Miyamoto said, I was inspired to do a stage adaptation of The Karate Kid because it tells a story we need in this ongoing age of division as our society becomes increasingly globalized. Isn't that what? You just said 2 different things.
What?
So we're all together in the globe, but we're all divided. Got it. Understood.
Is this like some weird thing
of The Karate Kid is that the real nature of karate is, as the show says, not for attack, not to hurt, not to win, but to let opposing energies play out and come in grace to a conclusion that allows dignity and respect for all. Kick his ass! I'm excited to show this dynamic with a visual and movement style unseen on Broadway. I want to introduce a new generation to this powerful story through the immediate, visceral spell a good musical can cast through theatricality, music, and dance. Okay? Understood entirely.
Does anyone minus me think they're going to have a lot of casualties like they did for Spider-Man the musical?
Oh God, I remember now.
Where they had the musical only character, I think she was called Swiss Miss or something like that.
Yep. She was put in the comic later though. Swiss Miss became a part of Spider-Man comic canon.
Oh. Also, Lazarus Soul 82 said, "Take all my money. Donated $5. Wax on, wax off, waxing the car hood to learn the lesson of dong." There are musical notes. You have to sing. And then underneath,
Eddie Herta says, "Put him in a body bag.
Sweep the leg."
Okay, now I have a serious question to ask. Are they going to use the song for like the climax of the musical when they get to the tournament? Are they going to have the entire chorus line dressed in different color karate, like opposing color karate gis, and singing "You're the Best Around"?
Oh, please do, please do. I want that.
Because
I just
I'm
want that.
imagining in my head, I'm imagining them all doing like choreography moves that are like miming, like faux karate moves at the same time, like dancing in karate form, and then like singing "You're the Best Around."
Do you think they're going to use like high wire acts and like that old the wire kung fu from the 70s? You know what
Yeah,
I'm talking
wire
about?
fu. Yeah.
Yeah, wire fu. Do you think they're going to use wire fu?
They could.
I mean,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was about to say there are some really interesting high wire acts you can do if you're actually trained to do it, and it's not just the Peter Pan production.
Right.
You can do some pretty interesting stuff with it.
Mm-hmm. I remember when I grew up watching The Karate Kid because it was being rented. It was rented several times. Someone in my family loved that movie for a long time. I remember the first movie was just kind of, believe it or not, I'm one of the weird people who think that the first film was just okay. Like, it wasn't terrible or anything. It was just kind of, yeah, okay, that's fine. The second movie I really, really liked. I really loved the second film, and the third film was just awful.
What did you think of the remake?
I didn't even bother seeing the remake. I was just like, yeah.
Not even for Jackie Chan?
Not even for Jackie Chan.
Decker, why didn't you use that for the summer of Jackie Chan?
Not even for Jackie Chan.
Yeah, but no, I just and of course I forget the one starring what was her name, Hilary Swank, the next Karate Kid.
Oh god, I forgot that was one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Everyone always forgets that one. It was pretty bad, but it wasn't as bad as the third one. It was more that the next Karate Kid felt like a retread of the first film, but it felt like instead of feeling like a theatrical movie, it felt more like a TV movie that was made by Hallmark, because they were really trying to hammer in that whole non-violence for defense only stuff. Like they were it felt School Break special bad is what I'm saying. It was it was that kind of heavy.
You must fill your head with knowledge, then you can break bricks with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Like I mean the first, no, don't get me wrong, the first film did have that, but it struck a balance. It struck a balance between the character actually having to grow as a person, and it actually felt more like a natural progression. It felt like someone actually seeing the consequences of their actions a bit and understanding why they need to change, as opposed to just having that repeated ad nauseum throughout the film.
Yeah.
The next Karate Kid was just basically. And the thing about it is that I wanted to like the next Karate Kid. I liked the idea of the next Karate Kid. I just didn't think that it was executed well. It felt very cheap. It felt like it had a made-for-TV budget, and it looked and felt that way. It had clunky writing. It had stilted dialogue. It had two leads who had no chemistry whatsoever. I mean,
always the worst.
One of the reasons why I love the second film so much is because of the chemistry between Ralph Macchio and I forget her name, but the actress Nico. Yeah, I actually felt like there was really good chemistry between the actors, and as their characters interacted in the film, I felt like, okay, yeah, I can believe that this is like a kid right out of high school who's gone with his mentor to Japan and fallen in love with a girl over there.
Judson Gaiden says, headbutts aren't actually taught in modern martial arts, at least not in the Judokawan style of Taekwondo, speaking as a former assistant Taekwondo instructor.
Right.
That wasn't supposed to be a headbutt. You were supposed to pretend there were bricks in front of my head when I did that. Miming!
But yeah, like,
speaking of...
Yeah.
Oh, well, actually, I think, we got the poll has completed.
Okay, good.
So let me refresh, get everything here. We got which horror movie would be the worst to remake? We got a pretty straightforward winner here at 71 votes. The lowest one, with 9.9% of the vote, is Hobgoblin.
No one wanted Hobgoblin.
No one wanted... people, or maybe they would think it actually would maybe be okay to remake compared to the others.
Maybe because it's not as well known or loved or cult classic-y.
At 11.3%, third place goes to Basket Case. And 22.5%, the one that's maybe okay to do a remake in comparison, but probably not. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, meaning that number one, with 56.3% clear winner, do not make a remake of this, whatever you do. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Dave Deshinta commented, saying, Killer Tomatoes worked when, by all rights, it shouldn't have, so trying to remake it would be like bottling lightning. Then again, it had sequels that did their own thing and still worked, so a remake might just need to distaff itself to do decent, like the Evil Dead remake did.
Right.
Didn't Attack of the Killer Tomatoes also have a cartoon? I remember as a kid a cartoon with a killer with a tomato.
Yes,
it
that
did.
and Toxic Avenger.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
There's a lot. How many horror movies got remade into cartoons literally aimed at
There
kids?
was this weird trend in the 80s.
God, the 80s.
The 80s.
In the 80s, the trend was to take action movies that were rated R and turn them into kids' cartoon shows. You had Rambo, you had Chuck Norris, you had RoboCop. You had all these movies that were rated R, and yet they were making kids' cartoon shows based on them. In the 90s, it was making horror films that were rated R, and then they were made into kids' cartoon shows. Toxic Avengers, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and I feel like I missed. The Little Shop of Horrors got an animated series.
Jack,
really?
Yeah.
Jack Brand dropped a $5 super chat saying, John Wayne Gacy, the musical. Story of an older clown taking young boys under his clown suit and teaching them the ways of keeping a crawl space tidy. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, that's right. I do talk about horrifying shit on my channel, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
What wasn't there also like a cartoon in the 80s that dealt with football players that got like mutated or something?
Early 90s, but yes.
Yeah, that was actually based on the video game.
Yeah, that was a series of video games, and
it was a very short series of video games, and I have words because I liked the series, and then it died too soon.
Yeah, that was one of Decker. Decker loves that series of games. But yeah, they did make a cartoon show about it, and it was in the early 90s. It came on before Power Rangers for some reason.
That's why I remember it.
Mutant League Football, if you just look up the opening title screen to Mutant League Football on Sega Genesis and just listen to the music, you will understand instantly why I fucking loved this game as a kid. This lightning and spikes and metal and
and thus something woke inside of Decker.
Instead of just tackling people, I mean, you could tackle them, or you could take the little violent slider up from rough to bloody, and then bone-breaking, and just all the way up to annihilation. And that way, instead of just, and they, now you go, and they rip into pieces, and blood is everywhere! And they fumble the ball, and you get to pick it up and take it to the other end zone.
Finally, a sports game I actually might enjoy.
Yes. It was actually made on the Madden engine because it was made by EA. They had the Madden engine. It was a mod of Madden, effectively. Mm-hmm. Mutant League Football.
Right.
Greatest damn thing ever. And then they followed it up with Mutant League Hockey, which I didn't like as much. It was a lot more cartoony. But that was fine for what it was. And then there was the cartoon, Mutant League Football cartoon show, which went on for, 2 episodes?
No, it was on for longer than that. I remember that. It lasted at least 1 season.
I don't know. I feel
like... But how long was a season back then?
26 episodes.
Oh.
So then it just kind of went on the back burner, and then there were some talks about them making a new Mutant League Football game, but it was going to be based on the show, but that never happened. And then nothing really happened. But I think, there's a newer game that has come out recently that was crowdfunded, or early access, something, same difference, called Mutant Football League, I think, which is pretty much the same concept, but in now 3D and bigger and all kinds of stuff. I still need to get that one and find out exactly how good it is.
Right. But yeah, the thing I remember most about it is that it came on before Power Rangers. So,
Motorcycle US donated $2 and said, Decker, ever played Blood Bowl? One of my favorites.
Blood Bowl. Oh, which one was that? Oh, I can't remember. I remember playing another like violent football game.
Murder Ball?
For Atari Jaguar. I actually
Not
had
Murder
one
Ball.
of those. Huh?
Not Murder Ball, then.
Okay, not Murder Ball. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember like you would tackle someone and there would be like a huge divot just dug out of the field where you did it, and those all stayed all throughout the whole game. Jaguar had some, like, it didn't really have very good graphics, like they were touting it like 64-bit, holy shit. It was not nearly that good, but it did have some nice effects sometimes. They had like what the hell was it called? Something Warriors. It was a cheap knockoff of Mortal Kombat, and the blood flew and splattered on the ground, but it stayed. The whole arena would just get bloody as hell by the end of the fight.
Nice.
That's what Blood Bowl is. Warhammer Fantasy Football. Okay, I have not played that. Sounds like I'd like it, though. But I like Mutant League because that heavy metal, gotta love it. When you can, when you go in like hoot, and you're trying to figure out what to do, and you're like, I have now made this ball a bomb because I'm sick of them intercepting our throws. So intercept this motherfucker.
Okay.
It's nice. But if they don't intercept it and you throw it to your own team, you do kind of kill them.
Oh, that's good.
You got to know what you're doing with it when you're setting the ball to be a bomb. Blitz the League. NFL Blitz was pretty good. It wasn't Mutant League football good, but it was pretty good. NFL Blitz is kind of the NBA Jam of football games. I mean, I don't care too much about football for accuracy, so make it over the top, I'll play it.
I just hope one day that E3 they decide to actually announce a new Mutant League football or a remake.
Hell, there's all those. One of the genres that does really well right now that doesn't get as much representation as you would think when being announced, but it actually does sell pretty well is like pinball games.
Yeah.
And what if Crew Ball had a spiritual successor? Am I the only one here who remembers Crew Ball? Think of pinball on Sega Genesis with heavy metal.
I think the reason why pinball, even though it's done a lot but still makes a lot of money, is because you can do a lot of variations with video game pinball. You can do a lot of stuff with it. I mean, there was the Sega Spinball? That's it. A Sonic pinball game? I remember that one.
Yeah, Sonic Spinball.
Sonic Spinball.
That had some pretty good music in it, too.
I remember there was a Pokemon pinball
Lava
game.
Powerhouse. Loved the music in Lava Powerhouse, just saying. It was kind of heavy metal. I like heavy metal.
I can tell.
Robot baseball game for the NES. I know about Super Baseball 2020. That was on Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. They had it was a very forward-thinking baseball game. They had robots could play baseball, humans could play baseball, like men and women, as long as the women wear little booty shorts.
Oh.
The men just wore baseball uniforms. The women wore booty shorts, and the robots didn't wear anything.
Oh, the robots get to run around naked. Their joints are going to be cold.
They look like trash cans with arms.
Or as my friend said once, joking around, saying, in Geth voice, pants are a structural weakness.
Oh, God. Review of heavy metal. I should probably do that at some point.
Is that the one, like, music video cartoon?
Yes.
Yeah.
With the big,
Yes.
very gifted...
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Where you can't be sure if it would be better to be high while watching it, but you are definitely certain that they were high when making it.
And they had a whole mention about it in South Park. I think that's like one of the few South Park episodes I ever watched.
Yeah. I never got into South Park. It was just
Same.
Outlaw Golf? I think I remember Outlaw Golf, like, seeing like
I
just
remember.
Same.
previews or reviews of it in
Right.
magazines, but I never
Yeah.
remember actually playing it, even a demo.
I remember Ninja Golf, which was apparently really hard.
Contra Hardcore on Sega Genesis had good music. Yeah, but I didn't like the gameplay as much as other Contra games. I don't know, it's just something about Hardcore. It was...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. It just, like, you really had to put a lot of effort into being good at that game in order to make any kind of progress. So,
I remember there was one game on the Super Nintendo whose music, it was kind of trippy, but I still liked it. Illusion of Gaia. It was an RPG
Oh, yeah.
style, so it wasn't a sports game or a
yeah,
fighting game.
Super Nintendo had all kinds of RPGs on it. That
Mm.
was the system to get if you wanted grand epic adventures with beautiful music.
Right. Yeah, RPGs on the 8-bit
Chrono Trigger.
on the original Nintendo. It didn't really have the capacity to really hold a really good RPG. So it was mostly known for its platformers, and well, that was what it was known for. Yeah, once the Super Nintendo got going, though, it was RPGs, all of the RPGs.
Yeah. I liked a good RPG.
But Secret of Mana had good gameplay and good music, so there was that.
Eddie
Chrono
Herder says I
Trigger
should
was
do a
good.
2-in-1 review one day. I think the only time I kind of did that was Halloween 6, I think.
Yeah, in Halloween 6, the director's cut.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's the producer's cut and the theatrical cut. And they were very different, but also similar enough that I felt like having two separate videos, it would just be treading over the same stuff too much.
But
How many in one would it be if Decker did Total Recall? Because there's like so many versions of that one. Is it Total Recall?
Oh.
No, not Total Recall.
Got 100 bits cheered on Twitch. Thank you very much.
The one starring Harrison Ford.
And I'm trying to see from who Nerdmusk.
Blade Runner. Blade Runner is
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, Blade Runner. I couldn't remember Blade Runner. How dare me?
There are a couple of versions of Total Recall too, but yeah, the one you're thinking of is Blade Runner, because there's like this whole subplot involving a unicorn dream that got cut out of one version.
Also creepy. I sent you an article.
wonder.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Oh, but I wanted to talk about blood.
I just got distracted talking about awesome games with heavy metal because the chat was like really cool. Revenge of Shinobi with good music and gameplay. The director.
Did you ever play the one video game that had Jack Black in it? And he plays a rock star.
Oh yeah, well he played a roadie.
Oh, sorry, a roadie, turning into a rock star.
Well, he went back in time to a different age. Brutal Legend. And yeah, that game didn't do too well, and as you get further in it, I can understand why, because it goes from this open world adventure to a strange little action RPG RTS.
Oh yeah, I remember.
The gameplay gets a bit weird and clunky, but it's still a really damn good game, like overall. And because it didn't do too well, and it is because it's kind of clunky and some of the gameplay decisions are a bit questionable, you can tend to find it for very cheap. So if you ever see it on a sale for like $5 or less, then go for it.
Oh yeah, it gets super cheap during the summer sale.
Oh yeah,
on Steam.
Mata Nui says that game wasn't very good. It's like, it depends on how much you like RTS, because I mean, I do enjoy RTS and open world and action adventure, so it was all components I liked, but even then, I still found the implementation kind of clunky.
Grady W6 Wilson asked, would you ever review Braveheart?
Braveheart?
And point out all the historical inaccuracies.
I'd have to do a whole lot of actual research for that.
Research?
I don't know. I'm not a historian. I'm more into, like, if there's a screw up either in the scientific method especially, or just basic chemistry and like things like that. You're trying to have quantum physics be the backbone of your storyline over here. I'm gonna just point out everything you got wrong about quantum physics.
That sounds like what Decker would do. Like Decker would just stand there and point out everything you is wrong.
Excuse me, sir, you said this was a superposition, but what you're actually utilizing here is what is referred to as the uncertainty principle, and they're just like, dude, I'm trying to have naked zombies walk around. What do you want from me?
Okay, article time.
Please. There's a car in one shot of Braveheart?
Foreign tourist comes to Japan hoping to see Yakuza from Yakuza video game series.
Oh, no.
People are falling in love with a wide-eyed visitor from abroad who discovers Kabukicho isn't really like it is in video games, which Decker and I can hold of that.
It's like Paris syndrome for Japanese people.
I could confirm the whole time I was in Japan, Creepy was there like, Decker, no, stop.
Pretty much.
They're like, where the fuck do I press the A button?
No, Decker.
In Japan, TV Tokyo broadcasts a popular program on Monday evening called You Wanani Nishipone. You Wanani Shini Nippone. I used to be better at this. Which translates to Why Did You Come to Japan? Presented by Osamu Shitara and Yuki Himura, who make up the comedy duo Banana Man. The show centers on foreign visitors to Japan with interviews approaching newly arrived travelers inside airport terminals with the question, why did you come to Japan? The results are often surprising. As the show chooses to follow tourists who come to the country for something other than just ordinary sightseeing. This week, though, the program hit upon a particularly interesting story as they came across a tourist who said he had come to Japan to see Kabukicho, as he wanted to experience the real-life Tokyo neighborhood that's lovingly rendered, although renamed Kamurocho in Sega's popular Yakuza game series. Twitter user Masososo watched the program on Monday and loved the idea that someone overseas would book a trip to Japan based solely on the desire to experience the rendered world from Yakuza in real life. He shared the traveler's story in a series of tweets with screenshots from the show that have since gone viral, striking a chord with fellow gamers around the world. The tourists who'd come from Martinique, an island in the region of France located in the West Indies in the Eastern Caribbean Sea, told interviewers there was no big entertainment district like Kabukicho on his small island. I want to experience the real Kabukicho. I'm a bit scared, but I want to check it out. After hearing his story, the interviewers asked if they could accompany the tourist on his quest, and he happily agrees straight away. He meets up with them at nearby Shinjuku Station sometimes later, bursting with excitement as he tells them he's been waiting 10 years for the chance to see Kabukicho with his own eyes. As they walk towards the entertainment district, his eyes light up as he recognizes the red gates that mark the entrance to Kabukicho. Walking beneath the gate, he can be seen looking around in awe, telling the camera that it has the same feeling with the same shops he's seen in the game. After walking around
look out for
a bit,
Mr. Shakedown.
After walking around for a bit, he then enters an arcade, spends some time trying to win a Pichu plushie from a UFO catcher before heading out to try okonomiyaki, which he also recognizes from the game for the first time. The glee and delight with which he tries everything is totally infectious, and when night falls, Kabukicho looks even more like the game that inspired the tourists to travel here. However, there's one thing that's noticeably different. There's no Yakuza.
I wonder why.
The traveler is shown walking through the streets looking for members of the Japanese mafia, saying, in the game, people are fighting here all the time. He eventually stops and asks the interviewer, where is the Yakuza?
Oh, God.
The director says, and that was the last time anyone saw him.
And then he died.
Oh, man, what is wrong with you? Why would you do that?
I mean, I would want to go to Japan to see sites that I've seen in video games and anime, but I'm not going to go look for the Yakuza.
Thank you!
I would think, like, if you would see them, great. Try and avoid them.
Avoid them at all costs.
Hope that you can recognize them from very far away and maybe cross the streets, as long as they won't find it offensive.
That's like going to Tokyo Tower and expecting Godzilla to destroy it while you're on it.
Thank you! Oh, man.
Or Mothra.
I would argue that's even worse, because Godzilla would do it quickly.
Nah, Mothra larvae just sticks on it and becomes a giant cocoon.
Yeah, that's true. That's shaped like a peanut for some reason.
Yeah, it was shaped like a peanut.
Yeah, never understood that either. Oh, okay.
Maybe because it was easy to use on a model?
That would be my guess.
I mean, Slimer in Ghostbusters 1, that one far away shot of him is a peanut painted green.
Mm-hmm. It's not a question that the interviewer, nor any ordinary citizen for that matter, could easily answer, as the Yakuza operate in the shadows of society in real life and aren't out fighting on the streets of Kabukicho like they are in the Yakuza video games. Still, the night is young, and the tourist is keen to enjoy his long-awaited visit to Kabukicho, so he departs into the night, waving at the camera while the subtitles below read, "I want to find some people a bit more scary looking."
Maybe I can come back home with one less finger.
I was about to say, and there goes your pinky.
How are you alive? How are you alive?
Ken Mabby commented, going, "It's easy. Go to a bathhouse that allows tattoos."
Yeah.
Whether or not he really did go off in search of more rough-looking characters remains to be seen, but it appears that he survived the night. I'm as shocked as all of you are. And the entire trip, in fact, even more shocked, as the traveler's Instagram account shows him now safely back at home after his trip to Japan last year.
Question. Does he have his pinkies?
I don't know. People in Japan and around the world have fallen in love with the story of the man from Martinique, leaving comments like, "I want to see this guy to become a sub-story character in the next Yakuza game." I love his enthusiasm, but if he really did meet the Yakuza, it worked out well for him. Thank you!
Someone here has the right idea.
I cannot believe I'm about to read this. Oh, I have to read this one out loud just for it to be heard. If they have made cafes and butler cafes in Japan, they should create a Yakuza bar for tourists.
Well, now that person has said that out loud, it will happen. But yeah, that's one that's dangerous. And I like how a lot of people are joking, saying, well, Patrick Johnson going, "I love GTA 5. I'm going to go visit LA and check out them street games."
Oh, God.
In the gaming world, you can duke it out with gang members in Japanese convenience stores from the safety of your lounge room. But in the real world, the Yakuza are far more dangerous and unpredictable, even if they do hand out sweets to children on Halloween.
What?
Well, I mean...
Halloween is becoming a thing in Japan now.
Everyone's nice to the kiddies.
Yeah. I mean,
the kids.
It's more about costuming, cosplay than trick or treating, but but Halloween is slowly becoming a thing in Japan. Yeah, particularly Tokyo. There's also a parade that occurs in Kyoto on Halloween night called the Hyakijako, I think, or I'd have to look. Let me look it up. It's basically it translates to means the night of 1,000 demons, and it's based off an old folk tale where on certain nights of the year demons would march through Japan and cause trouble.
Isn't there a
Eddie Herta says he would have been better off asking for the kumite.
Kumite.
Yakiyago, that's it. Yakiyago.
Isn't there one which involves snow spirits scaring the crap out of children to make them behave?
Yeah, there's another one like that too.
I remember.
There are lots of stories in Japanese folk tales about monsters that scare children in order to get them to behave.
Oh, God.
And there's
Blake the gambling hero says, "Oh, wow, I'm really such a big fan of Call of Duty. I'm going to go to Afghanistan and yell, 'Enemy AC-130 above!'"
Don't do that. Kitty! Creepy, you're distracting me.
I was thinking, hey, Dobby hasn't destroyed anything lately, and it's like, oh no, he's sleeping on the bed.
No, but I'm surprised he didn't suffer from what I think it's called Paris syndrome. I read about it in Ripley's Believe It or Not. People in Japan see movies of Paris, and then they go to Paris, and then they're disappointed it's not as good as in the movies. I've always wondered if, Americans or Westerners feel the same way when they go to Japan. Hopefully
Decker
they're not.
did. Me, not so much. Ow.
Oh, poor Decker.
I just think it's kind of funny because like a lot of games I play are Japanese, like EDF. They do a really good job of making a Japanese city. Like what a city looks like in Japan is modeled pretty well in EDF. I actually didn't really realize that until going to Japan and being like, "Huh, this looks like EDF."
You didn't scream any
Except
EDF
no giant
lines where
bugs
you're-
going around killing everybody.
Did Decker go around going, "Where are the giant bugs?" and then they just point to Mothra statues?
No, actually, thankfully, he did not.
Oh, thank goodness.
The cat is attacking.
Zaki Neko says, Segata Sanshiro, the man who beats you for not playing Sega Saturn. that was
Speaking of Mothra.
that was Sega's. Yes.
Hello.
That was Sega's marketing campaign during the Sega Saturn era, which actually did really well in Japan. A lot of people in
Sega
America
was
think of the Saturn, they're like, yeah, that one was a failure. But it actually did pretty good in Japan, and one of the big reasons noted is because of the marketing campaign with Segata Sanshiro.
Right.
It was just a play on Sugata Sanshiro.
Yeah.
And they just made him Segata Sanshiro, and he just shows up to people having fun playing baseball or going to parties, and he just is like, what are you doing here? Beats the crap out of them all, and is Sega Sanshiro! It's like, you must play Sega Saturn.
Japan has some weird commercials. There's one of Arnold Schwarzenegger advertising a drink which has a crap ton of nicotine in it. It was made in like the 80s, I think. Also, no one of importance just asked, Creepy, why does your cat look like the one from The Last Unicorn?
She's a tuxedo cat. That's why.
Where's her mask and where's her little tiny rose?
She doesn't have either of those.
And why isn't she throwing it at cats that are Sailor Scouts? Let me have my moment.
No, she was too busy attacking. She was like lurking around near the foot of the chair, and she was like jumping up trying to bite my elbow.
Oh, poor elbow.
I think it was punishment for me picking her up and showing her off on camera.
How dare you?
Yep.
Let's see, is there any YouTube news this time? I haven't been trying to think.
YouTube news?
I don't know.
We spared?
Are we spared? Please tell me we're spared. Please let my premiere here let me be spared from YouTube news of depression.
I'm looking. I don't see any YouTube news. But I have some wholesome news that's very nice.
Wholesome what?
Wholesome, very nice news.
A puppy was born.
I don't trust him.
Oh. Wait, are you saying puppies weren't born?
No, they were not. No puppies were born ever again.
No!
But this dad built a custom Xbox adaptive controller so that their daughter could play Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Ooh.
So, Xbox's adaptive controller has done some amazing things as far as accessibility in video games goes, but the setup isn't hardwired to only work on a Microsoft console. It can, with a little work, also run on the Nintendo Switch, and in doing so, bring an enormous smile to a little girl's face. It also strangely seems to mess with the analog stick's dead zone, and that's really annoying, but oh well. Rory Steele built this custom pad for his daughter, who has been itching to play some Zelda along with her friends, and it's fantastic. So, a little tweet set up where they went around building it. There's an ad for opioid addiction. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but okay.
On an article centered around a child.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm still wondering exactly what the child has. Is it cerebral palsy or what? But they have a condition that makes it so their motor control not so great. Like, doesn't work with a regular controller. So he got the Xbox adaptive controller working with the Switch, which you can with a simple little USB adapter. And then got that set up there, and like... you can see here on this little animation. All the little wires going in there. There's all little plugs going into the adaptive controller's ports and being wired directly into all of those little buttons around on the controller there with the two sticks to make it much easier to access all the little different things.
That's really nice.
That's good.
That's really nice.
That's good. I like that.
Yes.
As I'm pretty sure most people know, my fiance, she's got cerebral palsy. So we play video games, and she can only really use one hand, and not the best dexterity in it. So trying to find ways that you can actually work with these things is kind of important. Like the PlayStation 4, the Xbox adaptive controller sort of works with that, but not so well, unfortunately. It's designed for work with the Xbox, of course. And both the PS4 and Xbox also have accessibility options built into the OS, which is very handy to just say, hey, I don't think that I want to have to click the left stick to do this. Can I just press O instead? And it's like, yeah, we'll swap those buttons functionality. Nintendo doesn't fucking have that.
How dare they?
Really annoying. But fortunately, the adaptive controller does, with a USB adapter, work with the Nintendo Switch. So you can just swap out the plugs and stuff and realize, like, the button position is more important than what the label says. So, like, what it says on the adaptive controller for A button is actually the B button. The B button's the A button. And that's kind of how that works with the Xbox adaptive controller plugged into a Nintendo Switch. But, yeah. It works pretty well, and like me and my fiance, we played Borderlands together and stuff with the help of the little solder job on the controller to turn one of the triggers into a pedal for her. So it's all nice. So knowing like how much of a pain in the ass that was, seeing that much done with that big board with all those little buttons and the two joysticks and stuff to work with the Nintendo Switch, I understand how it's done. And it's like, yeah, that's a lot of work. That's real good. Junior Mazda says, didn't Nintendo have a gimmick for disabled people back during the NES days? I don't really think so. It's like during the NES, they just had a whole ton of peripherals, and they got some of them did work for people with differing disabilities, and Nintendo kind of got a reputation as being accessible as a result. But they never actually put in too much effort for accessibility.
Which is kind of a shame. They could make, I mean, if we're going to break out the economics in this department, they could make a very good amount of money from doing that to have access.
Yeah, it's like the Super Nintendo didn't have nearly as many accessories. The N64, even less. The GameCube, none. The Wii was supposed to be, more accessible to people who have no idea how to video game. But a lot of people just didn't like how things controlled on that. Let's not talk about the Wii U.
And fun fact, people who do like exercise and workout games, they still make it accessible for the Wii for people in retirement homes. So they use that for movement. Also, Motorcycle US said, Decker, what she has is a very loving father.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And a father with an engineering degree or some ability in engineering.
Yeah, they mentioned that they soldered the little plugs into the buttons all over the little pad that he made, the giant controller. Works out pretty well. Pretty nice. So, yeah. It's a very, very, very wholesome, heartwarming tale there. And we're coming in on like about 12 minutes to 10.
Yeah.
So probably should see about, hey, what's everyone got going on? Have a nice little smooth ending for this particular episode of Live and Wired.
Sorry, Decker, you cut out a little bit there. What'd you say?
He said that we should talk about projects we're working on.
Don't tell him.
Oh.
I was saying we're coming to the end of the show, so we should bring up the projects we're working on. Give our little ending speech. It's been a nice episode. Nice episode overall. No YouTube news. I feel good. I feel
Yeah, I feel much better. Yeah.
I feel positive about the world.
Right. I've got the gem review coming up.
Oh, goody.
I've also got a and this one is one that everybody, like, people have been waiting on since, like, not like since the gem retrospective started. People have been waiting for us to get to season 3. So this review will finally have us begin the saga of Riot and the Stingers.
Oh boy.
Yay.
Anyone who is familiar with Gem will know what I'm talking about. I also have a new Midnight Wing Theater review coming up. We're on the episode 4 of Lex, so yay-ish, kind of. Well, Kat and I have been working on a little side project together recently. I won't say precisely what it is for a couple of reasons. One, it's a surprise. Two, it's
not finished.
it's not finished. Yeah. Yeah. But Decker, I leave it over to you.
Timothy Armstrong just said their first console with the Sega Genesis game was Shining Force, and I'm thinking that was a fun one. Shining Force, Shining Force 2, Shining Force 3 on Sega Saturn. Shining in the Darkness was technically the original game of the series, though, which is a very different kind of game. That's one of those dungeon crawlers with the just set in the 90-degree turning. You know, the thing that beat 'em ups would has no idea how to play. But,
all right.
Nevertheless, what I've got going on, I ruined my weekend, so I didn't get a lot done in terms of live streaming. Haven't done that, sadly. But also I need to get a little more gaming videos done. I was doing some nice stuff on the gaming channel. I was playing a good amount of Dead Space, which has been going over pretty well. And also I've been playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles, just because I felt like it. So I've actually been enjoying that, and got all the Chaos Emeralds. So now I just have to have them taken away from me so I can start working on the Super Emeralds. And then aside from that, got the House 3 review done and uploaded, but it's currently blocked on YouTube, so right now you can only really see that on BitChute, which is limited to 480p, and is BitChute.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I'm going to be working on I'm going to work on House 4 next. And hopefully I can get some gaming videos done. I might be playing a little bit of Wing Diver the Shooter, because that was on sale during the Lunar New Year sale for like $3, and I'm like, that's fair. It's like 6 levels long, so I didn't want to pay $20 for it. So yeah.
So projects I'm doing?
Yeah.
Well, mine is the thing I'm involved with, Creepy, which isn't done yet. Barely in the beginning stages. If you happen to be in Florida, in the Bartow area, or able to drive to Bartow, on the 15th, I will be at a Bartow Sci-Fi Fair selling my own original works, which will be available for buying and purchasing. Please buy and support me.
Yes.
And if unavailable, I also have art available on sale on Redbubble and TeePublic and Etsy, and I only get a small percent from those, but I'm available. I have speed paint videos in the work. I actually have something involving Decker, as in I did artwork of Decker, which is, I just finished editing that. Hopefully it will be coming out soon.
Okay.
Don't worry, Decker, you'll love it.
Does it involve me and Creepy?
No,
Okay.
Just you.
Okay.
I promise, Creepy. I promise, Decker, it's not creepy. It's actually, you'll like it. I hope.
Okay.
Knock wood. But yeah.
Right. That all?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Blake the Gambling Hero asked, is there any way the House 3 review will get unblocked? I have the dispute process going, so it's in the hands of the claimant, and so I just gotta wait that out and see what happens. And
Always
also,
fun.
there was a comment. Yes, Junior Mazada asks, Creepy, I may be wrong, but haven't you done stuff with Nostalgia Critic or Stoned Gremlin?
Neither. No, I've never worked with either of them before.
Also, Mata Nui says, I forgot the gaming channel existed, but then again, that was mostly porn the last they checked it.
It's not porn.
Which is fair. That is absolutely fair. It is a visual novel.
Novel of anime importance.
It is a romance novel. We are just doing it for the voices.
Yes. Actually, yeah, that's why I watched yours.
Also, Lone Drag. Oh God, they did a Sakura Gamer too.
Oh, John Washburn
And they
wishes to
introduced
know
a
my
new.
YouTube channel.
They introduced a new girl into the Sakura Gamer story, and she's described as the angry one. So I'm like, oh, a Sundari. Well, I know what voice to do.
Yay, Sundares! Hold on, I will. If it's okay, I can put a link to my channel, Decker.
Okay.
Go
Thank you.
ahead.
I have Patricia and Creepy's channel in the description. This was
Right.
kind of a last minute thing, so I didn't prepare.
It's okay. I can. Oh, it won't let me send it. Of course,
But you
because
have
I
moderation
am.
privileges.
I know you would think maybe because it's too long.
Possibly.
Boo.
Don't boo, creepy.
Well, she is Cat Luna Minitera.
Loon. I give up. I give up. One episode in, I already gave up. I sent it to you, so if you want to share it.
I'll see if I can.
Thank you. I also have a Twitter, a Tumblr, a DeviantArt, an ArtStation, an Instagram, a Wessel, Pixiv. I have a lot of channels I put my art on for the sake of spread. I also have a Newgrounds. Forgot the Newgrounds one.
Right, well, I believe that brings the show to a close. Right on time, too.
Yay!
So, yes,
Yay.
thank you all for joining us. I have been Decker Shadow.
I've been that long-haired creepy guy.
I'm Cat Lunicia.
And remember, don't go traveling to foreign countries looking for really mean people on the wrong side of the law.
There's that.
Remember
Go there
that.
looking for soaplands. Good night, everybody.
Night.